All right. We're live.
Oh my goodness.
That's how we start.
What's up, boys?
Can you turn me up a little, nice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh,
Check.
There we go.
Hey,
Check. You didn't use the table?
No table, man.
That's okay. We'll just keep it there for show.
It's the empty Topo Chico table.
yeah. That's the beverage table.
All the disposables will end up there anyways.
All right.
There's a new link.
There's a new link.
If you're here, you got the new link. Let's just put it that way.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. Guys, thank you for joining us. We're here with Kiefer Ian, Just Jerry, Kai, JWILLI, here for the first ever Chicago Producers Roundtable with the Poducer podcast.
Sponsored by Sapporo.
No,
I'm just kidding.
not really.
We should blur it.
Fueled by
Hand
Sapporo.
blur.
Yeah.
So,
what do we do?
yeah, we're just
Turn off the stream.
Dude, yeah.
We're not ready.
We gotta
out.
figure
He
this
wasn't
out.
ready.
Log out, log back in.
Turn it off and on again.
Control F4.
No, today we're just gonna get down and dirty with all these young cats over here.
Mace is gonna be
creep inside
shepherding
their
us.
minds. Yep, I'm gonna be taking you guys through, guiding you through this experience. Got some fun questions. Got a little icebreaker, as we like to start off on the podcast, right? Everybody likes an icebreaker. Jerry's asked you guys all, because you've been on this podcast before, what was your first concert? So now I want to ask you, at a show you've played, what was the worst experience that's happened at a show you've played?
Oh.
I don't even.
I think Kiefer has heard mine.
I've heard many.
I've had some wacky moments.
I'm trying to think. What's a really whack one? ASAP Ferg in Indianapolis. Yeah.
You played with ASAP Ferg?
Oh, are we talking about ones that we played or just like attended?
This is like worst gig story, right?
Worst
worst
gig
gig.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with gig story. Sure. Batter up. So, worst gig story. I was still going to Ball State. I got offered to play at Evil Olive, and it was like Fight Club headlining. I was gonna play the back room, whatever that shit was. So yay, gig in Chicago, let's go. So I drove up by myself 4 hours from Muncie, Indiana, because that's where Ball State unfortunately is. And drove all the way up and literally pulled up to the venue. I was supposed to meet with the promoter. The promoter was, I think, at Spring Awakening when it used to be a Union Park. Correct me if I'm wrong. If that
I was there for a couple years.
Yeah, so then that tracks. So pulled up to there, to the Evil Olive. Apparently promoter was still there getting lit. He was just like, I didn't find out my set times till I got there, and it was like, you're going to be playing 3:30 until 5 in the morning. So I'm like, oh, cheese and rice. Okay. Nerves for most of the night. I'm there at like 9 o'clock, all giddy.
He's got to read the room, man.
Yeah, I read the room. Wow, Evil Olive was quite the spot. So, to make it short, I waited around for like a good while, checked out some of the DJs. One of the opening DJs was like, his branding was like a minion.
Like a literal, like the yellow
Like
suspenders,
Dr. Gru,
the whole...
He wasn't dressed up, but like his logo is on the screen. It was just like minion clips, and I'm just like, yeah, we're out here.
Suburban wine Facebook moms must have loved him.
So, 3 a.m. rolls around. I'm like, dude, where's the freaking promoter? Apparently he blacked out at the festival, so he sent a text message and was like,
Nice.
"Hey, you're actually gonna be doing a back-to-back with another DJ." Turns out it was DJ Williamson, aka Nada.
Shout out.
Oh,
So that was the
shit.
first time I got to lore. I got to meet him for the first time. So when it came time to start our set at like 3:30, I think it was like, I'm not gonna name drop. It was some DJs that were playing, and we get up there and we're like ready to go, sticks in hand. I'm like, barely experienced on CDJs, so I knew I was in for it. And then like the DJ playing was like, hey, promoter said it's my time to play right now.
Oh
It's
my
3:30,
God.
and I'm like, me and DJ were like standing around. We're like, what do you mean? It's our time,
mean
and
by
we
that?
showed the message, and he's like, go talk to the promoter. I'm like, he's not even here. So who am I talking to? And so eventually, me and DJ were just like, well, at least we can. We're here, and then like we hung out. I mean, I texted, never got a response, so I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna leave. So like 3, almost like 4 in the morning, I hit up my buddy who was still up. Thank goodness, he lives in Pilsen. So I just like dipped out of there, never played, but luckily I got to meet DJ, and yeah, obviously I like got to know him more and more down the road. But yeah, that was kind of a shiesty night because I was like, man, I'm gonna be opening up for Fight Club. They were in the main room like going, I don't know, the screechy ass
like the jungle tear sound back in the day.
like that kind of era of trap where
The Carnage Screech.
the Carnage Screech ass
Hard
fucking
trap.
behaviors. Yeah,
I
so
got hearing damage from Carnage Screech.
but like the
Not
reason
dead ass.
the reason, I would list that as like the worst experience. Number 1, I didn't get to play. Number 2, I drove all that way up there. Number 3, I didn't get paid. Number 4, that was just
Damn.
kind of like the iceberg of like trying to work with that particular promoter, and now I don't. So I just do my
Name
own
drop
thing.
them
and
now.
No.
Just
Drop
kidding,
their
no.
handle.
Dox
Put their
them.
handle in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. They do that themselves. So now I have a wonderful group of friends and other people I've met in this
welcome.
city that can treat me like a human being, and it's nice for once.
Snaps.
Oh.
Snaps.
There's my story. Let's move on.
Oh man. All right, I'll go. I don't know. I was just thinking about like my first gig, and that was at the I forget what it was called, like the Empty Bottle, or there's another bottle,
Blonde bottle?
not the blonde bottle.
Bottled blonde.
Bottled blonde. Yeah. I think it was that. It's like on Lincoln, and like it's next to this place called Left Coast. Anyway,
I know where you're talking
You know what I'm talking
I used
about?
to live right over there. Yeah, they just closed like right when I moved out of the neighborhood. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's called though.
Yeah. So it was there, and I remember it was like my first gig, and a bunch of my friends were there, and I started out, and I missed my first transition, and I literally was just like, guys, I just fucked up. I'm gonna restart. And because it was all of my friends, I was just like it was fine. You know what I mean? And it was a great gig because I like played some songs, like went out into the crowd, was like dancing with my friends. I don't even know if anyone else was there who wasn't my friend. So it was kind of like we just had the basement to ourselves. So it was a good gig, but I did fuck up. So I don't know if that really counts fully, but that's my story.
If that's as
a
bad
good
as
one.
it's gotten, that's good.
I don't think that there's been anything too catastrophic.
But like, what's worse, not playing the gig or like screwing the gig up when you're?
I think your story is substantially worse. I think it could have.
That drive sucked. So
yeah,
like,
I think that basically went as bad as it would have gone or could have.
Formative years. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, I'm next in this. So this goes back to the Kyle and Hobbs era, and actually pulls in like Agent O is involved in this. So I was playing a show, and I can't remember who was putting it on. It was like some DIY stuff. It was in a warehouse actually in Logan Square, and this was when I was working with like Carl Waxcraft like really heavily, and we were doing our duo together. And we always brought CDJs everywhere because that's just what we were comfortable with. We loved like the XCJs. That was our thing. And for whatever reason, I asked Carl to go out to the burbs and like pick them up for my parents. Like I wasn't able to like do the backline stuff that day. And this is super random, but like my XTJs had been modded to have a different power cord on them because like I had them serviced. And so essentially like this piece of the power adapter falls off in transit. We don't know where it is to this day.
What?
Get to the gig. We've got one CDJ and a mixer, and we're supposed to go on in like 20 minutes. And like,
Fuck.
David Agent has been like, he's been doing his stuff for a long time, and like we were going on before them, and I really wanted to do a good job. And so we had to do this like reverse transfer of our record box songs onto someone's computer and play the gig on a controller on Serato. And like, we were just not expecting that at all. So I would say it's probably one of the worst showings I've done of just like, planning on having like a mixer and CDJs and then being like, oh yeah, you're doing Serato, like none of your tracks are gridded, like you have to kind of just do this. And like our track listing and that stuff too, where like I wasn't a good enough DJ at the time to just do it on the fly, so I needed my like ordering and things like gridded the right way. And it's like funny, just down the line, I asked David if he remembered that, and he just is like, what are you talking about? Because like he like no offense to him, but like I was out for a long time during COVID, and I think a lot of people just forgot. And I was like, oh, do you remember this one night? And he's looking at me, he's like, oh, what? Like, you're that guy?
Oh. Damn. So how did the performance go?
It wasn't good, man. It was actually
bad.
it was just horrible. Like I did a horrible job, and I mean that project's in the grave now. So it's maybe that was the death knell.
Yeah.
Maybe. Damn.
Mixer with essentially like a laptop freaking charger.
I mean, dude, it was an XDJ that we had modded. Like imagine like a 12 volt, like one of those little plugs that like will plug into, it's like the circular hole with the pin in the middle, and like that adapter just fell off. And Carl was going to like Guitar Centers. He's like, I gotta find the right adapter for this, and like a very valiant effort, but in the end of the day we had to do the reverse of planning on CDJs and then going to a controller, which I feel like you normally hear about the opposite, like someone's not ready for the CDJs and getting hit with like the, oh yeah, you have to play on a DDJ. I was just not expecting that at all.
Do no reverse.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
Snap.
Dude, we need the damn, son. That's okay.
Damn,
next time,
son.
John, you got
That
something
sounded
for us?
Yeah, I actually so I have two that come to mind. So Kai and Kiefer, you've heard the sabotage story.
John,
so
can you move that mic just slightly?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, get in
Cool.
there. Sorry.
So there's either the sabotage story, which is what I was originally going to tell, but I also thought of one that happened in college. I'll just call it the
We
bloody.
have many. It's
We have many. These are like the only real two. Or there's the college bar bloody nose story. So what should I tell the sabotage story because you know it, or do you guys want to hear the new one?
Bloody nose, because I haven't heard that one.
Just from the
Right.
names, I don't remember.
Fair enough. So the bloody nose story. This is back in college. I was a controller DJ. I'm playing this bar called Pub America, and it's the kind of bar where like I'm lugging in my speakers every weekend. And I had two of my buddies, Pat and Adam. No, it was Pat and Mike. Adam did it sometimes, but they would be my security because this was on like a little raised corner, not really a stage, but a raised corner.
Oh,
and being a college bar, requests were frequent, but I wanted to be a real DJ who didn't take requests. And so their job basically is they would fend off requests all night and they would get to drink for free. Pretty sweet deal. And so there's this, it was like it was like a bar crawl or like a nursing school birthday party. I don't know. It was something along those lines. And so there's this girl who's like climbing up, and there's like only like a foot between my table and the edge of this like 3-foot raised corner. She's like asking for requests, and I'm just like, no. And then she talked to the guys, and they're like, no. She starts like trying to climb up and like grabbing the table, and this is just some flimsy folding table. She's about to yank all my shit down, and these were speakers that had like, I have like the giant amp up there, there's my laptop, like all this bullshit. And so eventually, I start telling the guys, I'm like, yo, can you like keep her away? They're like, yeah, we're trying. She tries to come up again one more time. It's like 4 or 5 times. I just start ignoring her. Like I just stare at the Serato stare down at my laptop. I'm just like,
I'm done.
The Serato stare.
Yeah, you guys heard about the Serato stare?
Never heard of that.
This is
but
it's
that's
a
so
nickname
funny.
I heard of if like when DJs just stare at
Oh, is
their
that like the
laptop.
laptop eyes thing?
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
laptop
look up
eyes.
at the crowd, bro.
Yeah, it's like engage with the crowd. So I was
Oh,
like, no,
yeah.
I'm going to
I've done
intentionally Serato stare right now. So she thinks I'm just so focused that I can just ignore her. And I look up at one point, she's talking to Pat, and I look down, and then I look up again, and she is over the shoulder of this like 6'7" bouncer being carted out of the bar. The door is right next to where I was. There was like a divider, and Pat is holding his face. Blood is gushing everywhere, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? As I wish Pat were here to tell the story, because again, I was drinking on the job, which is apparently only acceptable as a DJ. But
Third person's an interesting
No,
story.
it's
so
it's
far.
encouraged.
Right, yeah.
It's like you want some drinks.
yeah, exactly. And my friend was the manager of the bar. She would just get us slammed. Anyway, I believe as Pat would tell the story, Pat, if you're watching, I get this wrong, I'm so sorry, but basically she comes up to him and he just sets a hard line. He's like, no request, you need to leave him alone. Like, she's almost yanking my shit off the table. She grabs him by the collar, headbutts him headbutts his ass right in the nose, and immediate blood gushing everywhere. And
my God.
so then Pat turns and grabs the bouncer, and the bouncer just yanks her.
That's why
tiny
his nose
little
kind of looks like that.
Pat, you have a beautiful
I'm
nose.
sorry, Pat. I'm sorry. John set me up.
Zing. But yeah, so nothing happened to me. In retrospect, it's kind of, sorry for your pain, Pat, but a little bit fucking funny. But it was my sheer confusion because I didn't see it happen. I just see my buddies just gushing blood.
Hell
Then
no.
so they get her out of there. I'm like, what the fuck just
Rough.
happened? Another funny part where I fucked up right after that is I had some remix of Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. The whole crowd's looking at this situation. I'm trying to like divert their attention. Pat's got like a big glass of whiskey at this point, just trying to like collect himself, and it was a rip off YouTube, and it just like faded out and ended like halfway through the song.
Oh,
So immediately after, the bouncer causes a scene and this girl headbutts my friend. The music goes completely dead for like 30 seconds. I'm like,
Oh my God.
fuck.
Because you're not thinking about the mix.
Yeah,
at
I'm
that
worried
point.
about my buddy bleeding all over the fucking stage. Like,
Damn.
Priorities have just shifted so dramatically.
yeah, it was a very wild like minute and a half.
What did she want to hear, John?
Yeah.
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't
That's
know.
the question.
You know,
It had to be great.
yeah.
It had to be so good.
I would like to think so. And then like 4 years later, I'm just out at a bar with Pat, and he goes, "John, that's her." I'm like, "What?"
Oh.
No. What?
We hadn't been talking about the story.
saw
We're just like hanging out, and he's just like, "That's her." I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "The girl who headbutted me." I'm like, "I'm gonna fight her right now." I didn't, obviously. I'm totally kidding, but yeah. And that's
When you were describing it before, it sounded like Schmeagol just like trying to request a song.
no, that's the
with
funny
my
part. She was this
precious-
very cute little like 5'3" blonde nursing student, and
She got hands though.
but yeah, whomp. I keep almost flinging the
She's got
headphones
a
off when I do
head.
that. Yeah, she headbutted my
God,
buddy right in the
man.
face.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's something. Yeah, that's a pretty good story.
thanks.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeper. It's a keeper.
Damn.
Where do we go from here, Mace?
Oh, I love that song.
I will probably just tell my story real quick. I probably should
yeah.
have gone first because, like, I don't think I have anything that intense. But I was invited to play our dorm's like prom, like our winter prom freshman year of college, and they put together this like whole big like setup in the lobby of our dorm, which was, I mean, like a pretty sizable place. I was super excited. I had never played like an open format event before. I was so used to playing like hard dance music and shit like that. So I'm like, okay, downloading all of this like pop music and hip hop, like curating my night. Like, okay, let's start it off with some like chill but like upbeat stuff and kind of go into more of like the crowd pleasers and whatever. And it seemed like no matter how much prep I did, I didn't have the right tracks to like please that crowd, if you will. There were about 12 people there, and they were all like dressed up in tuxes, like way too like nice for this like freshman year prom at like our dorm room. The vibe was really uncomfortable. I was playing like Gorgon City, like I was getting down with it. It was fun.
What year was
And,
this that you were playing Gorgon City?
2015.
Mace is the selector, dude. He
Yeah,
knows
so it
about
was like,
Gorgon.
it's like vocals and like, you know, you can sing along
can
to
dance,
it. It's
like,
good
easily.
dance music, but
Yeah.
they come up. So this one girl comes up and goes, "I think people will dance if you play the cha-cha slide." And I'm like,
That's like a wedding song.
"Oh, I
Yeah.
know, 100%."
She has a
yeah.
point though.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
will
easy
dance.
enough.
You're right.
I can make
This ain't
8
that.
people. I can make 8 people in like way overdressed garments like dance to this. So I try and jerry rig it on my laptop. Basically, I have to close Tractor. I have to open Spotify and set up my like controller as an interface. And I'm like, hold up, I got it. Like, I'll do this. I play the first cha-cha slide that comes up because I didn't know the artist.
Oh, no.
And it's some fucking random like Spanish song that is not the cha-cha slide that everybody knows.
No.
Ah.
And whatever ended up happening, I basically packed up and left after that. I'm like, thank you guys. That was my 2 hours. Like,
I'm
not getting paid for this, so I'm just going to go.
Mace
Sigma
logging
Kappa
out.
Phi, we'll see you next
Yeah.
time.
That was bad.
See you next time.
Man, walked out of there with your tail between your legs.
Literally, but I mean, it happens sometimes. Happens to the best of us.
The
right?
wrong cha-cha slide
The
is
formative
hilarious.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. I guess that was the one song I didn't get. So next
Was
time.
it like in Spanish? Like it was like slide to the
No, it
izquierda?
was just completely different.
Out
It
on the
was
Rachel.
yeah. Like I don't. I
The
don't
original
remember
must
anything.
not have been on Spotify because I played a couple different ones down the line. It just wasn't any of them.
Damn. They
Yeah, it was
didn't- they
bad.
didn't have
But
it.
shout out Briscoe. Shout out that prom.
Yo,
It was,
shout out.
it was something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good times.
So, guys, I got a couple of questions here that I just kind of want to open it up. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Now, I kind of formed these in the mindset of somebody like me who, struggles with my own issues with producing, right? So, like, everybody kind of goes through these ups and downs. And these are some things that I would love to hear other producers' perspectives on if you're in a creative rut, say. So, workflow is kind of a big thing. Live 12 just got announced. It seems like the biggest upgrades to that are going to be to your workflow and being able to come up with new ideas quickly and creatively. I kind of want to just hear about how you guys start a track, what the process is for like your workflow. Like, where do you go? Are you just fucking around and you start with something you like, or what's kind of the process behind it?
Yeah, for me, there's like two ways that it happens. One is I will just be kind of sample hunting, and I'll just find something that just has a melody or a chord structure that I just absolutely love. I'll start extracting like the melody and the chords from that, and it almost always gets turned into piano first, and then I build around that. The other thing that'll happen is I will just like hear something in the wild. Like I made this track last week. I was watching Tokyo Ghoul, and there's like this background piano in season 2, episode 3, and because I was like really getting into it, and then this piano starts, and I was like, hold up, and I like rewound and listened to it like 3 times, paused, immediately opened Ableton, and then made a song out
Dude,
of it.
that's like those memes where it's like you're just playing something and then something happens and you're like, I have to sample this.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't directly sample it. I like kind of recreated it, but in a different key, but it's like same melodic structure. It turned into its own thing. But yeah, so it's either starting with a sample or like hearing something in the wild. And like, I think when you make music long enough, you start to recognize when that spark is happening, and you just got to capitalize on those moments. Like, okay, the inspiration's here. Like, we got to run with it while it's here.
For sure.
How often do you get that, just out of curiosity? Is that hitting you on a weekly basis, on a monthly? I mean, are you just powering through 90% of the time and once in a while it just kind of clicks? Or
So I think it's kind of like a muscle I've developed, because there were times where that would happen like once every couple months. And then over the summer, it was happening like once a month. And I was like, whoa, this is unusual.
You've been on a tear.
Bro, I have written 10 songs in the past 2 months.
wow.
Completed.
Wow.
And so that's why I say it's like a muscle that I built, because I saw the frequency increase. And then I had to take some time off, because at a certain point you got to like live in this world too. I noticed I was starting to recreate my own shit, and I was like, I wanted it to be fresh, so like let's live life, get some fresh inspiration. But yeah, I was getting to a point where I've been cranking out like a song in like a day or two, like once a week or so for like 2 months.
Wow.
So I think it's a muscle to develop, which is why it starts with awareness of when that spark's hitting, and then capitalize on it, and you'll start to learn how to work with it, and then you can do it more frequently.
That's a good answer. And how long have you been producing for? Just like...
I took an Ableton class in college in 2017, and then I didn't really do anything with it until 2020 when COVID hit. I basically just spent most of COVID learning how to produce like seriously. So 3-ish years of like serious production, but I've been a lifelong musician, so I think that kind of backs some of that up.
For sure. Nice.
Kiefer, you got something?
Who wants to take it?
Sure,
I'll
sure.
just... Okay, yeah, you go, Keith.
I guess more or less, I'll listen back on like tracks that I've saved. If there's like any like part of a song that really sticks to me, I'll like try to recreate it in my own light, and then build around it. So I guess more or less when I walk into the DAW, I'm like starting, at least primarily I'm starting with drums, and then like trying to at least get a bass kind of loop going. And then of course that's when I start layering, and sometimes I'll like literally import a project or a song and try to like map the structure of it just so I can figure out a flow. But once I get to like a loop, like for the drop, then I'll just kind of stick with it, keep building on top of it till it sounds right. And then at that point, I'll then start copy pasting and just have that bones there, so that really there's just less and less work that I need to do to build from the ground up and just have something there. And then
just like a basic intro, a basic like outro, a basic build, just so you kind of have the structure first and then you go in, or
yeah, like I'll start off with just a loop, really, and then flesh it out from there. Like there's times where I don't even write the intros until like the very last part, so that I'm not just like stuck on like making the build-ups, because I love making build-ups, but like sometimes I just spend way too much damn time on it when I could like be structuring and fleshing the rest of the track out. But like the quick trick really is just like literally like taking a song, putting it into the DAW, trying to like kind of match what I'm looking to build out of it, whether if that's like a bass line that I'm like super glued to, or if it's the actual drum swings that like I'm feeling, and then build around it. So like having at least a bass block kind of like shadowing it, and then stretching it out as much as I can. And then of course I'll have a night where I just make a song in one night, and 9 times out of 10 those are like the songs that are like, I fucking love this, because like I just make it in like less than 24 hours.
Well, I was about to ask, like when you have that loop going, like do you feel like you could get a track going in maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours, just like good to go? Or how long would you say it's like?
Yeah, so like if I'm really in the zone, I'm like doing it in like a night, and then like I'll spend like the rest of the week just like letting my ears chill, living life, breathing, and then coming back to it, doing a little bit of mixing, tweaking here and there. Cause I waste a lot of time like trying to mix as I produce. It's a horrible thing, toxic as hell to like do that, but like.
Is it? That's what I do.
Interesting.
I didn't
you think
know that was
so?
toxic.
Yeah, I kind of do that
I did
too.
a production class, and it was like, yeah, like just focus on getting the idea out, getting it into the project, and then go back and then worry about your mixing from there.
I agree with that, but at the same, my thing is like I want to be excited by what I'm making, and to do that, it needs to sound good to me while I'm making
real.
it.
It's a fine line
That's
to
so
walk.
real.
Because like I'll just get like too mad that I'm like it's not quite there.
It's got to be like loud enough too. Like everyone talks about how you can't like put a limiter on the master. That's like what I
Always.
learned from my like first kind of production teacher, where he's like, keep the master as clean as possible. And I think that was great advice and great feedback for the time. But like now writing like louder music, having it closer to that target loudness level keeps me excited about it. And I just have to remember like, hey, there's a limiter on the master. Like, don't think this is finished yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's real.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real.
I
Mind
would agree.
games.
I was just gonna say I just produce podcasts now. No, I mean, I don't know, man. For me, like every time I work on something, it's kind of a different process. Like sometimes I'll be in the phase where I'm like super into samples, and then that'll drive the track. Like I'll be just like chopping up samples, mostly making like hip hop with that. But yeah, I mean, I do kind of start with chords, and then because that's like the hard part. I try to get the hard part out of the way because I'm not good with like the music theory exactly, but I know what I like. And then once I get all the notes in place, then it's like, all right, let's fuck around some synthesizers, like change the sound, and then drums, and I don't know, man. I'd get really into risers and like build-ups too, so I can get sucked into that sound design. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of just like for me, I just go off that one thing that excites me, and then and I agree with the speed thing where it's like, let's just like capitalize on this because I'm gonna get sick of this. So as long as I don't get sick of it too quick, that's when it's good.
It's real, man. I feel like I'm just like echoing what y'all have said, but like
Yeah.
definitely hunting for samples, or like for me too, like hunting on my sound design sessions in my library of like, oh, this was a really cool like bass riff or a hook I made, and then like the first session is like get the hook where it needs to be, and that's maybe depending on the record is like, if you write a good hook and a good variation, that's like 75% of the record, and everything else is just like kind of the fine tuning from there. So like the 75% is what I can do really quickly, and then everything else of like the B section or like all the little additional like micro editing things, those are what take the longest, and like that can take anywhere from a month even. And like when we were making Boost together, it was like we wrote that hook basically the first night we were doing it, but it wasn't until we had some time away from it that we like dragged those vocals in from an old project.
That pickup session was insane because
Yeah.
I remember we were like, okay, we got something. Let's go back to it, and we came back to it. I think we actually found the vocals later because we were like, something's missing, but like let's.
It was like 10 minutes before you came over for like the third session, and I was just like, oh, let's hear how these would sound.
Yeah, and it was just like, I like that.
I remember you guys played me the like original, and
Yeah,
I
like
remember
sans vocals.
you were like too close to it, and you were like, I don't know, man, this is cool, but I don't really know what to do with it. And then you guys really developed it into like what it was.
It's like this downside of keeping your projects and like keeping everything forever, because like I have all my old aliases on my computer somewhere, it like deep in a hard drive, and like sometimes there'll be a flash of like, oh, I want to go back to that one particular thing on that day, and I waste so much time trying to find that. But like I always let myself, because it's like,
yeah,
you know, why not, right? Like if you thought about it and you remembered vocals from a project in like 4 years ago, then there's probably something like that's calling you.
for sure. Yeah, I feel that. I don't do that often. I don't go back. Because, like, once it's lost its luster, I'm just like, yeah, I'm out. I'm too, like, ADD. I'm like, next.
I feel
Which,
like
I don't know if that's good, but
maybe
yeah.
things can get their luster like like after the fact though, where
Yeah,
like you just kind of like try
reinvigorate.
stuff out again
Yeah.
and kind of see what it would like with fresh ears or something.
I always tell myself, like, if I was more organized with the shit that I've made and, like, resampled the stuff, I would be a better producer. But
Really?
I sit down and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna make this, like, and yeah.
I think there's something real to that too, though, where like, you know, revisiting a project, like I keep all of my projects forever, which, you know, pain on my hard drive, but
Yeah.
like going back to them when I've developed my skill set more, like I've done that a little bit recently where I, you know, now that I'm at this point, like, and that's part of where I've been cranking out these tunes in like a few hours per session, like a session or two and they're done. I'm like, okay, I'm good enough with my tools now that I can execute what I'm hearing in my head. So then I go back to these things where I'm like, the idea was there, but I could not execute at that level that I was hearing the idea in my head. And then, first of all, it's kind of a fucking pain to work around all the bullshit I was doing as a beginning producer.
Looking at your old chains, you're like, why was I
Yeah.
doing it like
Oh
this?
my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And
That's why I don't go back, because I'm like, this is a headache. This is like a puzzle
Dude,
that I don't
it
want
is.
to wrap my head around.
like the song that I just put out with Ex Medius last week is a song that I love, and I thought I was a good producer when I started it, which was like almost 2 years ago. And trying to get that mix down where it needed to be, what like the shit I had built on it was so dense I couldn't just like dismantle it. I probably should have, honestly, but I tried to work within it and around it and did like 5 times as much work. And
Dude, that's what I was talking about this today with a friend. Like, you build this ecosystem, and then you're like, wait a minute, I can't fuck with that.
Yeah.
Like, if I mess with that, everything's gonna, like, the compression's gonna be off, and then it's
Yep.
not gonna sound the same.
Yep.
So it can be tough.
it's real.
Yeah. To go back in the DAW.
Absolutely. No, I was good answers there, guys. Like, I don't know. I feel like revisiting old projects is always good, and that's something I kind of do. Where it's like, once you start an idea, if you kind of keep it around in your recent folders, like I just kind of open it up every now and then and just be like, what was I cooking up here? Like, what was the thought process behind it? Back in like 2016 when I thought I invented break beats. Like literally, like I put like a 1-2 step on like at like 124, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a whole new genre. Like
This
I just
slaps.
fucking created this.
New genre unlocked.
Went back to it. I'm like, oh,
Genre
CLB got to it first. So
Yo,
Shout
we got
out.
some people in the. We got a shout out Tokyo Ghoul back in.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's Alexis Lately. We got Gio in here. Ayo, what's up, Gio?
Yay.
Gang, gang, gang.
What up, Alexis?
What's
What up,
up?
Gio?
We already shouted out Johnny, but thank you for being the real OG.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the kid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't name drop like that.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all have kind of gone down an arc, and we have some old tracks from everybody.
Yes.
Before we get into this, I want to hear a little bit about how you guys have ended up to the sound that you have today. Kind of where you started and just the overall.
I'm grabbing
arc.
a beer. Does anybody need a beer?
And
Alright.
I can toss you one from over here. I mean, I'm in the station.
All right.
We're live.
I didn't want to mess you up.
I could pass it.
Toss me.
You'll have to toss me.
There you go.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
and I kind of want to hear how you guys started, how you go about finding your sound, and like,
Lore.
yeah,
Lore.
some
Lore.
lore.
World building.
World
World building.
I'll kind
Damn
of
near.
pop us off here first. So, I started off with hearing dubstep and UKF. That's probably where I first got
Same.
got
Every
started with
time
all this.
I always talk about this, I'm just like, like the UKF days, and people are like, yeah.
Everyone's like the blue
Yeah.
speaker on YouTube.
I reference it so much.
Like,
Eyes
I
on
was
Fire,
6,
Zed's Dead
Jerry.
remix.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. White Satin.
Yeah, UKF kind of, I feel like, molded a lot of people for our age group in the YouTube era. But as I was kind of listening to that, I went to my like third or fourth concert ever, which was Flostradamus at the Metro.
Nice.
And that's when I got my first Ableton Live Lite that came with my MIDI controller. And I started making trap music. So that's probably where things kind of started. Martin Garrix came out, it kind of morphed into Big Room, and then it kind of went into some progressive house, like maybe like your Hardwell or your Avicii kind of vibes, right? Morphing into kind of some pretty light style chill trap, a little bit of chill drum and bass, some hip hop beats, and then I just kind of went all over the fucking place for about 4 years in college. I did Moonbaton, I did more trap. I thought I discovered breaks, and I didn't. I was really disappointed about that. I went for
Only
there
like
was-
50 years after the Amen break.
Dude,
so.
yeah, there was this like Milo and Otis like twerk type music that I
dude,
got
Milo.
into for a hot second, and ultimately like, I kept coming back to house. I feel like, throughout all the years I was making some form of house and techno, not so much techno, but house music, and that's kind of where I'm sitting at now, but also still just fucking around trying to find something that sounds good. But I'll open it up, guys, whoever wants to I
Yeah.
want to hear from you.
UKG. No, I'm sorry.
Well, like, I feel like a lot of garage producers in general typically have like a hip hop background. So yeah, my formative years and starting producing in like high school definitely was like a lot. I was producing a lot of like hip hop kind of stuff, making beats like that, just getting really crazy with it. Yeah, so like I was definitely like influenced a lot by like A-Track with his production styles, and of course I saw him DJ for Kanye for the Glow in the Dark tour, and I was like, this is like the perfect embodiment of like what I want to do. Like I want to produce, I want to DJ, but like A-Track just does that so cohesively even to this very day. But I mean, that was like in weird internet circles, like post MySpace, like doing Tumblr shit, like in the vaporwave sphere. So like a lot of my stuff was just like super out there. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just like doing hip hop taught me a lot about like groove and working with that. I've always been kind of a house head in that space, and coming back to it and always going back and forth with hip hop. And even when I was doing more future bass, which was like popping off like 2012, 2014, like really early, and especially with how Tumblr was like pushing that heavy. I had like a blog and had a lot of followers.
Dude, what was your blog?
It was called Browave.
Browave?
Browave.
I don't know if we talked about this. I had a Tumblr blog, and it was all about music, and it was called The Best, like DA
Oh, that's
Best.
sick.
But it was the same like Tumblr was a fun time.
Tumblr was cool. Like before it got really cracked out. Like it. Yeah. There was
Before it
just
just became porn, you know. It might
there's
still be
worse,
porn.
man.
Didn't they take away the
Yeah,
porn?
they got rid of it.
Yeah.
They did.
They got rid
That
of
was like the
years
big
ago.
That was
thing
my
that
favorite
kicked
part.
everyone off, man. It was like when Yahoo bought it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yahoo was like,
Required.
nay. Like, none of that. Tisk tisk.
But yeah, no, I mean more or less just like I was producing for rappers, I was DJing hip hop shows, I was doing basement shit in like Indianapolis, breaking floors,
Sick.
being at shootouts, like yeah, those are my formative years. And then like I more and more got into the dance music side of things as I was going through high school, and it really stuck with me. It like became an earworm, and then like I found my community on the internet, and then really the pandemic solidified like where those intersections meet, and that was garage music. And at that point it was more of like putting a mirror to my face and being like, oh shit, like I've honestly been into this for a long time and I didn't even know it until I was like with that community on like Discord, like for the new KG Discord. And yeah, that's what kind of led me to be garage pilled now. And
Garage build.
now I won't shut the hell up. So
There's a new KG Discord.
yeah,
Dude, I didn't even know about this.
yeah, I don't remember who exactly started it, but like Conducto is in there, Jemmy was in there. Yeah, just like all the big people, the people that are big now, they were just like posting up in there, and like I've met a lot of like my close international people from there, and yeah, now it's just kind of like I can't escape this.
Every time I get out, they pull me back
It's
in.
like
Wake up, garage. Go to sleep, garage.
Eat, sleep, garage.
Yeah.
it's like that meme where
Can't
it's,
own a home, live in a garage, you know.
it's like that meme, the Interstellar meme where he's like me discovering music production. He's like, no,
Yeah. Banging on the bookshelf.
yeah, don't do that.
Dude, I had a weird journey through all this stuff, man. Like, there was a Halloween party, and at the time, I kind of had a crush on the girl who was having the party. And I was like,
Ooh.
I want to DJ. And I knew my cousin DJ'd,
Oh,
and he was into, like, Aussie hardcore, if anybody out there knows
Oh
DJ
my
Kotz
God.
and DJ Ravine. So, like, I got put onto all that, like, 170, like... And I think without knowing it, I probably heard a bunch of the rave and, like, classic samples that, like, I'm searching for now and stuff, like in those happy hardcore records. And then it was kind of like everyone's talking about, like with the UKF stuff, like all of the classic like YouTube core dubstep at the time when it was first happening. And I think the house influence really came from like learning how to DJ traditionally and like taking some lessons like from someone in the city who showed me what house music was. And like I was aware of house. I had found kind of like deep house as I knew it and stuff.
Who was your mentor?
It was
Yeah.
Brian Boncher who
Okay.
does stuff with True Music, and he's like a really, really good DJ, just like career DJ, is doing a DJ or it's DJing Carl's wedding actually
oh,
Oh wow.
this summer. So that kind of got me pushed on like the house train. And then I would say through till I mean it's really even hard to look back and say like, because Mace has known me for a long time, man. Like, what would you say the sound was even like pre Kyle that it was pushing for?
You know, you always had Omni going, so it was
Yeah.
always kind of this deep, atmospheric, melodic, like it was techno for a little while, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic was like what really was the inflection point of a lot of things, like the old label kind of like collapsing at the time and just like deciding I was like, okay, I want to focus on myself again and my sound. And so like that was when Kyle plus Hobbs like stopped, and then I was like, okay, let's go back and focus on Kai again. And I think that's kind of when the desire to do like breakbeat style stuff, and also kind of returning to like the roots of listening to Rinse FM and stuff too. Like I know that sounds like a cop out, but like freshman year of college, I remember just listening to like Dusky and FOMO mixes too, or like the Dusky Essential mix. And I was like, whatever this is, I want more of, and I want to learn how to make this one day.
why is that a cop out?
I feel like it's that stuff is all like back around again now. And I hate to be the person who was like, I was listening to it way back when, but like if it's true, it's true, man. Like I had all
Yeah.
those like rinse
Like
rips.
if you were born
Yeah.
in the 90s and like in the 90s shit is hot, it's like you can't help but be like, I fuck with Aqua. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like you know what I mean?
Maybe I'm being a little self-critical, but like just listening to the 2013 like rinse where it was like Shadow Child, Marcus Nasty, Dusky, like all those guys in weekly rotation doing mixes was like what set me off on the course that I'm on now. But it took me 7+ years to like come back around to it. And that
Yeah.
so it's like a weird loop.
Shout out Shadow Child.
Yeah,
That
Shadow
makes-
Child, absolute goat.
It makes sense though.
Yeah,
That's how it is cyclical.
it's super cyclical. Like sounds come back around all the time. Like now, like the slower dubstep is fun again.
That I was just
Yeah.
like
Yep.
the old school UKF stuff that
Yeah.
was like that hyper dub shit that I was listening to. That was like, this is weird. Like it was too advanced at the time, but now it's coming back, and I'm like, this is cool.
It's like we
Yeah,
went
no.
so much like further past it and so much harder, like trying to like jump the shark like every
Yeah.
time, and now everyone's like, maybe you just need a sub.
I do feel like
Yeah.
if I showed myself the shit that I listen to now when I was a kid, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah, I don't think I
I'd
would
be
have
like,
gotten it.
nah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think I would believe it. So, because like my journey through music has been a little different than a lot of producers. Because like way before I even listened to electronic music, and even further before I started making it, like I was classically trained. I was playing trumpet. I was learning guitar. I was in a rock band in high school. I did vocals. Not all that good, but I did them. And so like I spent years writing music that was, you know, very Fall Out Boy, A Day to Remember. Like I was listening to a
Day
lot
to
of
Remember.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Oh, dude, yeah, Paramore, like Mayday Parade. Like I was a very like punk pop metalcore kid growing up, and then you know UKF days, Skrillex caught my attention. I made exactly one beat on my brother's MacBook in GarageBand that I called dubstep, and it's out there. That's the one I was
You
talking.
said it was on YouTube, right?
It's out there. I kind of wish I had. Well, I'm sure we'll get to it, but I kind of wish that's the one I had turned into you guys. We still could, but
Ooh.
We could play it off pod, maybe.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you
we'll
guys
do
off
that,
pod. But then in college, I had a roommate who showed me electronic music, and I started listening to. And these names sound very obvious now, but this is like 2014 when these guys had like. Now I'm gonna take it out of your book. I am gonna be that guy for a
Nah,
second.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's be that guy.
I was that guy.
Gatekeeping.
I am that guy. No, I wasn't gatekeeping. I showed anyone who would fucking listen, and they were like, "What the fuck is
I'm
this?"
sure
But
we
I-
all like were being that person to
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
room. They're just like, okay,
To the room,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're like,
so
"Stop playing."
to literally make my point, I was trying to play Elenium at frat parties before Elenium had more than a few thousand plays on a song. And so there was something about like the future bass melodic dubstep, and this, so in that same vein you had like OG Seven Lions, OG Midas,
Dude,
RL Grime was in
Midas.
his very melodic trap era. Arm & Hammer was just hitting the scene hard. You know, you had all these guys. And so there was something about that, just like, I think a similar theme between like the punk pop metalcore and like the melodic dubstep is like a little bit angsty, like very emotional, very intense element. And so I started making future bass when I started, you know, making like producing music. And it felt natural from like the punk pop writing days. The reality is I wanted to make more like dubstep stuff, but my skill set just wasn't there. So I did the half that I could do, which was the saw stacks. And as I got better at producing, part of this was the pandemic. There's only so much like dubstep of any form, even melodic, that you can listen to when you're stuck in your house for months on end. I got really into progressive house, like not like the Avicii, like Alesso progressive house, like Deza, like, you know, the very like now it'd be called melodic techno. I think there's a fine line between the two. I digress. So I started making a little more house. As my skill set developed, I started exploring more genres, and now I'm fucking all over the place. Like, especially in the past couple, like what I've released this year and what I made in the past couple months, I've made garage for the first time. I made techno this year. I made liquid drum and bass. I made like this screechy roller drum and bass. I've made kind of some 140. Like, I used to think the dubstep and my melodic dubstep would be like the very like classic 2017. I hate the name bro step, but that genre basically. And now it's like 140, but in 150. Like, I'm literally all over the place. I've made the chill prog house. I've made bass house. I've made complexure. I've made a little all of it. But I think at the core, if I'm remembering the question you initially asked before, it's still the melodic dubstep for me. And that's kind of like, I've learned a good system is, and this might be a good jumping off point, is exploring other genres that I'm not used to, like trance, for example. I started making some trance, and I realized that the hi-hat pattern is completely different than what I was used to. And then I realized that was part of what gave Seven Line's music its sauce in the melodic dubstep form. He uses a lot of trance elements, and when I started putting trance hi-hats in my melodic dubstep, that was some of the sauce. So I will go explore in a few other genres, and I'll come back to melodic dubstep, which I think is like the core JWILLI sound these days, and like I get better at the core by branching out.
Wow. That was profound, and yes, that's a great jumping off point. I mean, obviously we all listen and have listened to a lot of fucking dance music the last like 10 years we've been doing this, right? But where do you guys take inspiration from? Is there some, interesting places? For example, like I just downloaded the MIDI to a country song to like find out how this guitar solo like works with tension and release, because I just found it so like emotional for me. And I just wanted to dissect it a little bit and find out what was going on with this country song that made it so like, oh, like, fuck yeah. And it wasn't like trucks and beer. It was more like emotional, like, his dog died and his mom got ran over by a train and, that kind of
Crashed my truck.
Damn.
And now I lost my dog in the
musically
breath.
tense. Yeah.
So
Rough. I didn't get to go.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
You know that? No, I'm sorry. It just reminded me of. Have you guys ever seen The Emperor's New Groove?
Oh yeah, great.
Of course.
movie.
Yes.
There's this part when they all get turned into animals, and the guy's just like, I got turned into a cow. Can I go home now? And I'm just like, yeah, you can go home. Anyway, yeah, UKF. I'll just quickly go through
let's
it
hear the
we
arc.
can. Yeah. UKF, dude, fucking Mount Eden dubstep.
Oh
Yeah.
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 My friend's older brother was like, yo, you gotta check this shit out. I'm like, okay.
Sierra Leone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow.
exactly.
I haven't heard that name in so long.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
And
to this
Yeah,
day.
you
and
can.
what you were saying, that you were playing like Millennium, and like, I feel like we were all the people that were playing tracks, and our friends were listening to like the radio, and we were like, yo.
I would
this
get kicked
shit's
off
crazy,
aux at
though.
parties so they could
Yeah.
play country music.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no, that's real. I tried to play a Dabs and Borges song at a party once. And
Yeah, like
yeah, and I was definitely thrown out of the party for sure.
Yeah, but you're like, you would like this in the right circumstance. Like,
It wasn't the right circumstance
Yeah.
at the time, but they would go on to probably like it.
yeah. This just brought up a lot of things. Like, I don't know. I like listened to dubstep. I was that guy who would like get aux in the car. Like my one friend Maury would be like, yo, play something weird. Like he would look to me to just play some weird experimental shit. And then I got into music production, bought a pair of Tannoy like 5-inch speakers, got my focus right, was producing. I always say this, I didn't even know what a chord was, so I was like, oh wow. I was like playing around the push, which is not a traditional way to learn chords at all. It's like, yeah, just do this and it makes sounds. It's cool.
Wait, that's actually so interesting that you learned how to like do hand positions for chords not on a piano.
No, and then I had to go back because I was like, I still don't understand this fully. But yeah, I was making a lot of like future bass and like trap. Before I even got into the music production, the whole like Tumblr blog era, dude, I remember I was posting shit and like would post stuff with a link to like the converted thing so you could download it. Like I would post a track and be like, yo, this is a cool track, and then I would add a link to it that had the conversion, like SoundCloud converter, so you could
Just
download
already
it.
pre-filled out,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
Wow,
Like,
it's
That's how you get
next
a download.
level.
You do the hard work
Dude,
for them.
I did the work for them. I remember I was so green and fresh on this shit that like I remember I uploaded a song from Daft Punk's Random Access Memory to my SoundCloud with a free download. Like, dude, they were gonna put me in jail. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, well, music should be free, blah blah blah. Dude,
Crazy.
yeah, wild. And I still have a mark on my SoundCloud.
Oh, you still have a
From that.
strike from it?
I have a
to
strike
that
from
day?
it. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
what's the difference between getting a strike on your SoundCloud? Because like I'll make bootlegs and I'll try and like I store everything in my SoundCloud as private. I have like 400 tracks on there, and occasionally they'll be like, "Oh, we can tell this is so and so," and they'll take it down. Is that a strike?
That is a strike.
I
There
think-
used to be like a 3-strike
I would say
rule,
I have like
right?
20 plus strikes if
Oh,
that's the
really?
case.
Yeah, I think it's like a 3-strike type.
I have
system.
2, and I'm scared if I like do something else, some like fuckboy shit, they're gonna just take me down.
Maybe it's because they've always been private for me. It's never been a public upload that they've taken down.
I think that yeah, that's like a factor.
Mace,
into
we
it.
need the SoundCloud EULA right now, dude. We
Yeah.
need the terms and
No,
conditions.
I got
like,
fucked on the My Humps remix, the Jersey
Oh.
remix me and Carl made. Do you remember that?
yeah,
dude?
a couple of those got taken down from
Yeah.
Ion.
Oh, and the Thanks for the Memories flip.
Yeah.
Dude, that one was hot.
but like
Oh.
we,
Oh, I need
But
to
at
hear
least
that.
you guys flipped it. I just uploaded.
Yeah.
fucking
That's just straight up
Straight
piracy.
pirate.
dude. Yeah.
pirate behavior.
and you didn't get a strike for just like 1-to-1 the exact same thing.
Dude, I mean, they were not happy. It like got taken
got some
down
like Robin
so
Hood
quick.
mentality. Like
I do have a Robin Hood mentality. I've kind of always felt like, I mean, I don't know. Everything's like you can just stream everything now, so you don't really have to do that. But back in the day, I really wanted people to have the music and have access to it. And
I feel like that's something Pretty Lights did because he just gave out all his music for free. And
Yeah.
I don't know, there were very few people that did that. Like
Mm-hmm.
U2, fuck U2 for putting that album on my iPod.
That was like opposite
But,
Oh
of
my
piracy,
God.
Yeah,
reverse
that was-
piracy.
dude, yeah.
I don't want this.
No.
That's a home
It's like
invasion.
I would say
yeah.
it's like the anecdote of like you break into people's houses but you leave something every time. You never take anything, you just leave stuff.
Who
That's
the
what-
hell
yeah.
let you two play the Sphere though? Like,
The fact that they're one of the best selling bands in the world.
Dude, if
and
I see
it's an
another
expensive
audio
venue.
swapped reel of someone putting Subtronics
Sphere.
at the Sphere or someone who's not played there, like there's so many like edits of like an Anima song at the Sphere, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, that
just
guy.
like wait for him to play it
Yeah.
because they
Like,
probably will.
They
it
will.
will
Oh, yeah.
happen. But
Yeah.
like, God love us. They just opened it. Chill out.
Are they the only band that's played there, like so far?
Fish just booked like a 4 or 5 night deal there, and I only found out because someone tweeted they're like, "I don't know who Fish is, and
Oh,
now
dude,
I'm too afraid to
Inspector.
ask."
That,
Like,
Dude,
that discourse was insane.
Inspect. What is it? I'm not aware.
Fish.
A fish.
No, not
Oh.
Fish. Inspector.
It's just another DJ. shout out.
homie,
the
the-
homie Drake
Oh.
from Philly.
Gotcha.
That might have been on
Philly
the burner
cheesesteak
account. I
connoisseur.
don't remember.
Yeah, dude, the Sphere. We gotta go. We gotta make the pilgrimage at some point.
I'm
here.
down.
Down.
But yeah, okay. Just to finish this up, like I've been producing music for like 10 years, but I started with like trap. I would like make house songs. I also was into house and then have like a trap section. I was like, it's gotta have that section.
I've done that before.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
The halftime switch up.
Oh, that's my signature move.
Yeah, no, it's still good if you can do it right. But yeah, I made a bunch of stuff like that. Haven't had any like proper album releases, just like singles and EPs. And then I started doing the podcast, and that's kind of been the thing. I've been doing it for like 5 years now. I took a long break during COVID, and
Poducer.
Poducer.
I heard that vocal sample, man.
It's still alive. It's still alive. I could probably get a better one, but sometimes you just got to go with what it is, what people know.
Sonic branding is Sonic branding.
I just remember
True,
in
true.
like college listening to like when you interviewed Blake, like way back.
Scouring?
Yeah.
I never interviewed
Or
Blake.
was it? Maybe it was Valentine. I'm trying to remember. It was like somewhere in that. Like,
Someone like the
Zombie,
sound
maybe.
Sound Asleep homies, like
Yeah,
Some-
that,
yeah.
that
Doan
circle.
and them, yeah.
Definitely
Yeah, yeah.
Jake Doan. I definitely,
Definitely
listened to that one.
Ellipsis. Shout out Ellipsis. Congrats on newly being engaged.
Oh,
by the
Hey,
way.
yeah.
congrats.
Big dub.
Yeet.
Yeah. Big dub.
Big dub.
I won. All right. Anyway, May, sorry. I didn't
No,
want,
you're
I didn't
good.
want to be that guy.
Guys, I'm curious because we're about to put on some old tracks from everybody. We're gonna play a little game.
Okay.
Are people gonna recognize the track that you sent me? Are people gonna be able to pin it to you?
Are we
No.
are we doing this within our own circle as well? Like we don't know.
We
You
don't
guys
know.
have-
I know.
You guys have never
I
made a
know,
track that I
but-
submitted.
but you guys don't know. You only know your track, so try not to give it away.
I wish
Poker
I
It's
was
like a
faces up,
game of
boys.
charades.
Yeah.
Don't even bob your head to
Good job, everybody.
That was a good
That was-
experiment.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that was
that was
fun to
fun.
listen to everybody's old tracks. I mean, really, we've all clearly
gone through it.
We all what is chat
all
thing?
have
What is chat
PTSD.
thing?
I was gonna say
Jerry?
we've come a long way, but honestly, some of those early tracks were really cool. Like you,
Hell
Chat,
yeah.
Chat
Yeah.
just said fire. That was the
Yeah.
last
Let's
one.
fucking
Thank
go.
you, Stephen Allen.
That was like the
Appreciate
one track I have that isn't like very clearly melodic bass that I don't think I've shown anyone.
I would like to hear you make your own version of that now.
I kind of want to. When I went
Yeah.
back on it, I was like, wait, this 128 to 140
Like the
is
saw,
kind of
the
hot.
like saw bass in there. Like I'm assuming it was probably pretty dry,
Oh, there was nothing on
but
it. There was,
it's kind of hard.
right?
Yeah. No, it was Kiefer. You said it right. That Justice vibe, like
Yeah, like that gave me definitely some Justice vibes. How they have those like gritty ass fucking.
Once you get
basses.
Diva John, just
Yeah.
boot it back up.
Yep.
dude, I was so sure that you were Mace and Mace was you.
I'm so glad that
That
confused
threw me
you.
off too, man. Like I was
Those-
looking at my list.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad. No, I'm glad the mystery was kind of there for everybody.
Yeah.
That was good.
As jankily as that was put together, I'd been talking about this for like months. I'd be like, John, like, dude, I want to do this thing where it's a live stream and we guess each other's songs.
You
and,
were
like,
telling me at RL Grime, I think.
Yeah, I was
we're both
like-
like tequila sodas
like-
in hand,
I was
like,
like, John.
in the pit of RL Grime.
Just like
I have
after
an
we
idea.
spilled the tequila
Bro.
soda on ourselves.
RL Grime was lit. I didn't
my
really
God, yeah.
debrief you guys afterwards, but I was like, I was going ham at
I was-
RL Grime.
yeah.
It was so
Dude,
fun.
Arlo Grime was so good.
I'm
Oh
so
my
happy I
God.
went to that. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate Kiefer and John for just being like, Kai, you're coming. Stop bitching about it. Like
I literally got in the group chat. I'm like, guys, we're going to RL Grime tonight.
I showed up and I saw Max. I think no, I saw
was
you
me,
first.
by the
I saw you
bathrooms, yeah.
first, and then you were like, "Oh, they're over there." I was like, I didn't even
Dude,
know
you
guys were
beat
gonna
me
be
back to the. You got to the squad before I
I was
did.
cruising.
Yeah.
I was like a fish in that crowd, or a snake. And then I saw Max. Shout out CLB, and then great show.
That was a
right?
solid.
the new
night.
RL show just shows why like he's the king of
Yeah.
like what he does and like staying. Like I don't want to. I'd kind of ridden him off a little bit.
Really?
And then I just hadn't been keeping up with it. And then his like mix promoting the new tour.
Dude, the mix was crazy.
Dude, the mix
I
was
like,
insane.
This is
Just
RL Grime.
Going
the
deep.
Halloween one.
No,
No.
He did
the
a
play
different one.
mix,
Yeah.
the play mix where
Oh.
he was like rinsing the UKG and stuff on there. It was like, wait, okay, he just went back.
Like,
to
yeah,
it.
like a homie's music
Yeah.
on there. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, and did
Like,
you see he
RL
just
Grime?
dropped like most of the shit he played in that show, not the mix, maybe the mix, I haven't listened to it, but at the live show, most of the shit that wasn't on play was a live edit or it didn't make the cut for play, and he just dropped like a cache of like all this unreleased music like this week or last week.
yeah. Wait, I
Yeah.
heard about that.
I haven't listened to it yet, but apparently like that blew my mind real because I was like, okay, he's pulling from Sable Valley, obviously, or like, you know, the dude knows SoundCloud, he's probably digging, but no, that was like a lot of his shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's just figured out that like breaks section. Like I was noticing, I was getting the most hype during the breaks.
like
section.
the bridges, dude, where
Yeah.
he would
Bridges
like
and the breaks.
bridges.
Oh my God.
Some of those bridges too, where he like was pulling in. The one that really sticks in my mind is like the Right Here Right Now bridge with like the acid in it too. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is just like
I was like, this man
Take it back home, man. Yeah.
He's so tapped in.
Like, I never expected like trap RL Grime, you know, fucking
To be
you-
ripping hard techno for half his set.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was like,
that
wow.
and then just like delivering the like big RL moments that maybe like internally we'd all. John, I know you love melodic stuff still, but like
Yeah.
I hear some of those classics and I'm like, it's a great song, but I kind of sigh just a little bit. I'm like, we've moved on from here, but
Oh, I
like,
do too.
The Nova era, for some reason, I never tapped in.
yeah,
Oh man, that's when I was
was
the
that
most.
your tapped in?
that's
era?
like the
That was- yeah.
core and stuff, right? Like,
Well, so
Yeah.
core. No, that was what album was that? Because Nova's like
Nova's after,
Yeah.
Core?
After.
Okay,
That was
okay.
I Want to Know.
Oh.
That's when I was like I Want to Know was like peak. For me, that was like peak college DJing where I could finally get people to start listening to electronic at parties, and they loved I Want to Know. So I'm like, cool, I'm playing lots of RL Grime.
random tangent here, but I started a I Want to Know flip for the remix competition with
Hey.
Ellipsis.
Yo, I need to hear that.
It's I sent it to the chat, dude, with us.
Oh, you
It
did.
was,
You
it's
did.
the worst thing in the
You did.
entire world.
as
but
in the
like,
best.
at the time, Jake and I and Carl were like, "Oh yeah, this is sick. This is gonna win the competition," and then we didn't finish it.
Dude, I was that guy at RL Grime holding up my phone. I had Core on screen, the album art, and I was like, please,
As if he wasn't gonna play that. At
I
some
know,
point.
but I was thinking maybe he won't. Dude, I went to go see Paul Oakenfold. He didn't play Starry-Eyed Surprise. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they just
I like
pull one on
appreciate
you.
someone who's like, no, I'm not gonna play it just from like a I'm gonna do what I want perspective.
Eric Prid's calling me.
Yeah, that and then the fact that like when he came back around and played it though with like all the bridges and stuff, I was just even more psyched for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. He did do like a little switch up.
little good job of delivering it at the like right
He
moment.
pointed at me, and I was like, "Yes."
It's me.
It's like yes, but I think he pointed at me and was just like this fucking guy. Like
Yeah.
I was being annoying.
Did
He
you
hasn't
guys-
listened to RL Grimes since 2014, and now he's at my show in 2023.
Did you guys ever do like little funny skits on any of your early projects?
like video.
Like if you
skits?
made like an album or an EP, you put like a little skit in there to
Like an audio skit or like
yeah, like you just make like I don't know, some bullshit.
Like some 40-second interlude.
Yeah.
skit.
interlude.
I put in like random samples
No.
and stuff, Keith, but like that was like the tag that gave it away in that
Is it-
track. Like
Is
I
it
had a
possible-
dog barking as a snare once.
Is it possible we can run
Okay.
like this 30-second skit from that same album I played my song from?
Oh my god, is it
Oh
on
my God.
YouTube?
It's on Bandcamp, so like if you just backlink it. But the story behind
Yeah, go
this
for it.
skit, it's 30 seconds, so you know this
If
is
we
my
get
moment.
demonetized, I don't even care. It's fine.
Nah, but
Don't
like
care.
the story is one of our friends that here in Chicago I was close with. We all went like smoking one night, and like he got caught by his parents, and like I guess his friend's parents was like super pissed at him. So like this was the voicemail that was left, and
That's
I
hilarious.
put it onto my project called Hella, but it's called
Which one is it?
It's
oh,
called-
Free the Trap. Free
hashtag
Trap.
Free Trap, the motherfucking marijuana skit.
Oh my god.
This
No one is
Yeah.
available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Raul, this is mama. Stay the fuck away from me. You understand? I don't know what the fuck your parents allow you to do, but I don't allow you to smoke no motherfucking marijuana. Understand me? You know you're the worst motherfucking friend I can ever imagine having. Stay the fuck away from my son. And if you come back around, I'm gonna call the police on you. Now you tell your parents that.
Sounds like a Frank Ocean.
what is that from originally?
That makes me
That
wanna do
voicemail?
that.
Yeah.
yeah, no, homeboy's mom like fucking called him and was like, "Stay the fuck away from my son. Ain't smoking no motherfucking marijuana."
My God.
Damn.
Yeah.
How old was this son? Was he like 60?
I think we were like, damn, I don't. I think we were like in our early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is when I was just like seeing friends up here. I didn't obviously officially live up here, but it was because of that weekend and that voicemail happened. And boy, yeah, he's not in any situations anymore. But man, his mom was not happy.
What was the music on that record?
The track that I contributed, so that was one of them.
Oh.
There was, dude, it's like fucking almost like
Wait, do you have
17
like a vaporwave album that I need to look at?
several?
Really?
Several. Like
Several?
shop shxps.bandcamp.com. Like
Were you a big like Blank Banshee? You know Blank Banshee?
Yeah, I was really into like Macintosh Plus, but
Oh,
like,
Shout out, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that album cover is so iconic.
but there was like this weird break off from that where people were like taking FL Studio ass beats and just like I was part of that, and we were just like had blogs where we were just reposting GIFs and images and shit that was inspirational to the sound, and then we put our music in between, and people were like, "Oh damn," and like bumping it from there. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Interesting. I'm like uncovering things about Kiefer that I didn't know. I'm like, oh, there's some.
It goes
Some
deep.
more.
I was making like albums. I wasn't like dropping tracks. I'd like put a project together, put a bunch of fucking tracks on it, even they were dog shit. Like, whatever. Like it lives and existed for the period it did.
I'm like an exclusive album guy at this point. Like I hate singles. They bother me. It's too much to keep up with. And I know the release schedule, like it makes sense. Like Homies singles, okay, I can keep up with that. But I like putting on an album and just letting it ride. I'm getting to that point in my life.
I agree with that, and especially like I was saying, I've been on this tear lately with writing all this music, and I want to start putting it into bodies of work. But Martin Garrix had this theory, and this is why he only releases singles. And he's like, even if I do an EP, some track will get forgotten, and that's why he does only singles. And like, it's definitely more upkeep for the artist, and I never considered it until you just said it, but it's more upkeep for the listener too. Like, you might miss a single, and like, yeah, you can always go back, but I won't put out an album until I have a bigger audience that I know wants an album, like, specifically, because even though I prefer to listen to whole albums, I would hate to put out a whole body of work and someone gets 3 tracks and I'm like, no, but you really need to hear track 4, 5, and 6, and
yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's real. No, I feel it.
It's a lost thing for sure. Like, just like, I don't know, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. But I mean, that was kind of the double-edged sword to it, is like, when you do an album, you don't put as much effort into one single track, like, but that's kind of the beauty of it. Like, it's just like, that was there and that's what it was, and we just kept moving forward with it and putting cohesive projects, and I don't know.
I think you did it at a time where it was easier to get discovered and people would listen to a whole album.
Vaporwave too is also just like, I mean, slowing down tracks, like, kind of,
it's conducive.
like, the plagiarism is really baked into like a super procedural approach, right? And like, that's why I feel like it's, when stuff was simpler, like, we were younger, we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take all these songs I like and then I can just like run them through this process that I have in my head, and it's like, oh yeah, the end result is cool.
Yeah,
slowed and
that's a song.
You just step
fuck
away
the
from
copyright,
it,
fuck
drop
all
it,
that,
and just be like, fuck it, hope you like it.
Yeah.
That's real.
I'm also gonna take a bathroom break.
Get in there. Get in there.
Everybody out here.
Punk. There was something else I was thinking about during. Oh yeah, and it was like an album. Like, you can rely heavily on the track order, where it might not be the best track ever, but because it came after this and it just like fit the vibe as a transition,
You
or
can't really
like,
do interludes as like a single, and that's
not
like,
not necessarily interludes, but just maybe like a full track, but it just, the way that the album rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
No,
I
do.
do.
agree
I
with that.
do. Yeah. There's like things where it's like maybe not the track you come back to the album for, but like, it's there and you like it, and it like keeps the whole thing moving
when it's happening in a sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm saying this, I have not released an album, but I would like to do a longer
put out some
piece.
like longer bodies of work too. I feel like with some of your beats too, or maybe it's just like a big playlist.
I mean, that's the other thing that, you know, like Spotify does nicely for you. Like, if someone's single goes off and you just push play on their top track, it'll go like down their most played tracks, and that's kind of a good playlist also. You know,
Dude, while we've been talking about this, I've been thinking, and this was something I was thinking about before, I was actually on the like idea board, is like, when do I, and maybe in lieu of an album, I do the like 100% Kai mix of like everything that's been out thus far in the kind of new iteration, and then like some IDs and some forthcoming stuff. And it seems like there's more of an appetite for that, maybe because it's like the time frame is the same, right? Like a good SoundCloud mix, like I'm thinking of like the MPH one, or a bunch of people do like 100% mixes where it's like just all of them. It's like the same as an album, right? It's an hour, but like there seems to be like more appetite for like a really good mix in our circles.
Really good curated.
Yeah, good curating and just good tracks from yourself, rather than like the process that goes into an album. Because like taking myself out of the kind of like community to work on an album is like the scary part of like not doing anything for like a year other than focusing on this album. Maybe you let yourself have one single from it, but like that's it.
Well, and I think to your point, I think that's effective in electronic music, because typically a DJ set is not all of your own music, even though the time frame is the same as an album. So I think for a variety of reasons, when an artist says, here is an all JWILLI mix, for example, like that's appealing, because it's like, first of all, it's like, oh damn, okay, you have that kind of catalog now, especially if you can go in your back catalog and your IDs and you're not even using the whole discography. But also, like, to use myself as an example, if you come to a JWILLI set, you hear a lot of JWILLI music, but you hear so much other shit from the homies, from the bigger names, like Flips, all of it. So when you put out like here, and I think this also lends itself to like year showcases. Like I think I'm gonna do like a 2024 showcase mix. That's all me.
Ooh.
I don't know if it'll be all IDs or not, but there was, who the fuck was it? This was the 2018 Snavs. Anyone remember Snavs?
I do. He
Snaps.
actually played a Porn and
Yeah.
Chicken. Like,
Did he fucking really?
Yeah, they brought him out
damn it.
here, man. That's the only time I
Was
like
this
him and
trap?
Fabian Mazur, dude.
Yeah, it was like the melodic trap. It was
Oh,
kind of
Fabian
RL
Mazur.
grimy. Yeah.
Okay.
And he had this 2018 showcase mix that he dropped in like December going into 2018, and it was like 40 minutes, and it would be like 1.5 to 2 minute clips of his upcoming releases that year, and I thought it was so fucking sick. And I listened to it over and over because, first of all, I couldn't listen to the music anywhere else. Second of all, I knew it was all him, so I was just very curious.
Yeah.
And yeah, so to your point, Kai, like I just think that's a really sick way to present music in long form as a DJ.
What if you like, and I don't know how they go about doing these mixes, but like in Ableton, you could go into each project, bounce out the stems, like of the drums, the
Ooh.
chords, the melodies, blah blah blah.
I've
And
wanted
then-
to do that, but
and
it
then
sounds like so much
mix-
fucking work.
But what if the final product of it was just like, bro, this guy's next level, and the story behind it, and like I don't know, like it sounds like a lot of work, but what if it really was
The
next
work would be
level?
worth it, man, if you could just like do that on a push or something with like some limited like
Yeah.
DJ controls, and you just kind of like you knew where the tempos were, and you just sort of like, I guess I'm just describing an Ableton live set, but maybe you just like you just say, hey, I'm gonna do like, you know, the 4 standard like split stems of every record, and you get
Right.
them all to that point, and then you just try to like play through it a couple different times, a couple different days, and then you pick the best one.
I think it would be cool, and then you could also, I mean, obviously throw in some stuff that isn't in the actual release to make it fresh. Like, I don't know. I've always wanted to do that, but you're right. The work is daunting. You're like, oh boy, at
My
this point,
thing
I'm
is-
sick of these songs. Like now I gotta mix them.
The thing is, for me, it's not just the amount of work. It's like, one, I put in how many hours creating the track, but also I think it's twofold. One is I'm just kind of set my ways. Like if I'm DJing, I have this workflow. If I'm producing, I have this workflow. Something in my brain, mixing those just feels like I'd be overcomplicating it when I've already kind of defined my workflows for me personally. The second thing is, quite frankly, just not being in this might make me sound like a fucking old head, but not being in the golden age of SoundCloud where like putting out a mix, it's gonna get listened to. Not everyone will like it necessarily, but it'll get the listens.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I think is most important to me with putting out a body of work is like, you know, if you like it, and that's great. And I hope you do, but I just want to get it in front of people. So this might be, I might be sounding a little jaded here, but it's like, okay, if I put in all these hours on creating the track, and then I'm going to complicate my own workflow to do an Ableton Live stem mix, and then if it doesn't get pushed by the almighty algorithm,
Right.
that's kind of my thing. Not to talk down on like it's a sick idea, but I'm just thinking if I were to do it myself.
That's the thing that that's so different than making music 10 years ago, is we really do have to like fight against algorithms to be heard. When it was just like fucking, there was like no sponsorships, there was no like putting advertisers in the priority. It was just like, let's fucking let it free flow, let that community fucking do its thing, especially Tumblr. No ads whatsoever. And then when Yahoo bought it, it was like it started to get regulated heavily. Then it was algorithm based, and then there was like picking what we think you like versus what you follow, and just taking it in for when they could put the output there. Because I mean, especially when I was doing like albums and EPs and projects and stuff, I did it on my own term. But now it's like I have to coordinate fucking singles. I have to coordinate every fucking move, when it was just like I could throw it up and put a week lead time on it, or like a 2-week lead time, or I don't know. It's definitely a much different beast, and I think regardless of how much you plan it beforehand, there really isn't like a way to like guarantee that you'll be safe.
I get what you're saying though, where like you drop something on SoundCloud and people be like, "Yo, you hear that new Katra?"
I'm gonna be a
And like,
SoundCloud apologist. Even like I would say my releases this year, like SoundCloud has been consistent for me, and
Facts.
yeah, it's something where I felt that way for a long time, where I was like remembering the old days of SoundCloud, like in high school, you know, circa 2012, like 2013 SoundCloud, and like
Yo, Mace, can I get a beer? Sorry.
all of that
Thank
stuff,
you.
man, where it was
Thank
like, you know, there'd be one, like an account with one track and it's a mix that has 100K and you're just like, it's a good mix. Like the guy got 100K. He deserved it. Like, you know, he didn't bot it because there's no profile picture. Like there's nothing associated with it other than this one mix that's really good.
Yeah.
And I think they've recognized their like position in all the other streaming platforms and their, I don't know, man. I feel like you just have to kind of give it time and like consistently post on SoundCloud. But like the mix thing, to your point, John, like it's a different beast based upon how long it is too, right? Where it's like you might get people to listen to the first 10 minutes and then it's like every single comment is like, you know, on the left half of the track, right?
That's real. I mean, you could save that for a live set. Also,
you could do YouTube too, I guess, but like when you have to think about starting on a new platform, or like even the thought process, Kiefer, of like bringing your audience that's like
to a different
like,
one.
It just is like it's so much more to think about now, because
especially with like rebranding and moving into new genres that you're like feeling closer with, like going from like my previous alias of Shops and doing
what is it? Shops?
Yeah.
Like shops, like you're going to the store. You're going to
Correct.
shops.
the dead malls, dude.
That feels
shout
very...
out Dan Bell, dead
Dude,
mall walkthroughs.
Wait, that's a thing?
Deep
Oh,
cut.
yo, that was for Kiefer, dude. I watched so many of those Dan Bell videos, like
Be walking through a mall with like
abandoned
vaporwave
stuff.
music in the background.
yeah, like dude, he did the
Bro.
mall, like, or someone, a similar channel did the mall in my like hometown too.
Really?
And I was like,
yeah, he did like one of the Cincinnati malls that's like abandoned, and I was like, holy fuck, I used to go there as a kid.
Do they have to get access, or do they just?
oh,
do
I
it?
mean, no, it's
They're
definitely
still open. Like,
some
for
of
most of them.
Yeah, some of
they're
them were
open.
like mid-death, like, and he would talk about that a lot. About it, it's like, oh, this one is set to be decommissioned. All that's here is the J.C. Penney, and like I used to watch that stuff to like fall asleep after
Bro.
third shift, and it was so relaxing
Yeah.
of just hearing him talk about it.
Yo, I don't want to interrupt here, but we had a question in the chat of what's the difference between an EP and an album?
Oh yeah, I think it's just like EP is extended play, and then LP, which is like the album, is long play. So like extended is like longer than a single, but long play is like this is an extent. Like you're really
It's
listening
like
to this for
under
like 40.
5 is an EP, right? And then an album
Usually,
is like,
yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It grinds my gears when I see someone drop an 8-track EP. I'm like, no, you dropped an album. Just call it an album.
At that point, yeah, that's unless the songs are like short as shit.
Yeah, as long as
Well,
they're like 1 minute.
I'm not even gonna name drop the artist because he's one of my all-time favorites. But he did a debut album sometime in the past, we'll say 2 years to leave it vague. And I was like, no, he's dropped albums before. And I looked back, I'm like, yeah, he's got like 4 or 5 releases of like 5 to 7 tracks. Like at least one of these has to be an album, even if it's a short album. And they were all labeled as EPs. And that's kind of also the weird thing is I've seen bands, mostly bands, not producers and DJs, drop albums that are like 6 tracks long. Like, this is an album. Like, yeah, we're a young band. This is an early production, but it is an album. And then you'll see other musicians of varying genres and formats be like, no, this 7-track is an EP.
I feel like EP really like is not as cohesive, so the album is going to be more of a cohesion. You have a point, you have a beginning and an end to it that kind of links in. So
I agree with that.
that would be my best guess. Whereas an EP is like I got 6 tracks that are pretty much done kind of in the same.
This is
vibe.
like a conglomeration of like my ideas over the past 2 months or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
See, I kind of have, like, on the one hand, I agree with that perspective, but like, for me, I want them to be very cohesive. Like the Cabin Trip, which was kind of the prime example of like I'm whipping out tracks in like a few hours. I'm gonna do a 2-track EP of those because they sound, even though they're different genres, they sound like they're
John,
the same
they're not
tone.
supposed to know your next move. Shh.
John's move in silence.
you're
Move in
right.
silence.
Move in
John.
silence like lasagna.
I ain't got no G's in my name, boy. But my point being is like I like when an EP is very cohesive because I like to listen to it all in order, and you should do it with albums too, I think. But like I don't know, I like it to be cohesive. I think 4 tracks is a sweet spot for an EP. I think 8 to, depending on the musician, I think 8's the minimum for an album. I like 11 or 12. I've seen some as long as 18. I don't listen to all 18 unless it's like my favorite band though. That's pushing it.
18's a lot.
Dance
it all
Gavin
depends
Dance did that, and I was
on-
like, bro, like,
Yeah.
depends on the track length too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you put together like a 25 track lo-fi beat album where it's like each track is like 2 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll just let that ride.
Yeah, whole different ball game.
It just depends. But
What do you guys think
tracks is like just 2 singles. A controversial point. I'm just
really?
gonna put that.
I
That's
have
how
I
think
have
about
an EP
it.
that's 2 tracks.
That's how I think about it. Like if it's a 2-track EP, like we could call it a 2-track, but like it's 2 singles, and you like really want them to sound consistent and homogenous, but it's just 2 singles.
Dude, I think it's just fun.
I don't disagree.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. I don't either. I mean, yeah, A side, B side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I wish there was another classification where it's like an A B single, and then you have a single, an A B single, and then an EP, because that's what I think a 2-track really is.
Well, so this is the other thing too, is like you go on, I don't know what distributor you guys use, but I use DistroKid, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just like EP or album. I don't think there's many options in there.
There's single EP and album.
Single EP album,
Yeah.
but there's not like,
There's nothing else now.
yeah. I mean, there could be so many classifications. It's
Yeah.
like kind of strange that we have
We should just start
These-
calling them a tui.
A
a
tui.
Tui
Patui.
off Tui.
Tui. Like you're spitting.
I was thinking Tui
This MF
Road,
spitting.
which is like a Chicago
A.
reference.
A.
So random. Yeah, I don't know. I was also thinking about this, like when this is something me and Mace talk about, which is like with the mix that you were talking about, like doing too much there with the mix. Like, there's things in life where you could do them, and there's things that you should be doing. You know what I mean? And like maybe mixing together all the stems of your album is just way overkill.
Well, and that's
I
not
don't
what
know.
that's not what I was trying to say. I think what I was trying to get at, I think that's an awesome idea as a project if you as a musician, not necessarily you specifically, but also, yeah, if you are like creatively driven to that, again, that spark I was talking about earlier, if that's where your spark is, work with it because you want to build that muscle and train that muscle.
Yeah.
So if that's where you're feeling pushed, do it.
Yeah.
I think my point is more in today's online environment to get it listened to, be prepared that there's going to be other work you have to do on the other end of creating the mix to get it into people's ears.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot more. And I think my thing is I'm just trying personally, when I look at my creative workflow, I'm trying to look at just maximizing my time and efficiency. So
For
that's
sure.
just me. And
You
so-
work a day job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Only so much time, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's real.
And
I
even as you
completely
build that
understand.
spark muscle, if that's
kind of what I'm
now.
saying though, where it's like there's things like for the podcast, like this is one of those things where it's like a should we do it? I'm not sure.
I don't think
Yeah.
should exists in art.
No.
There's my hot take. Should does not exist in art.
I'll just say this. I'm enjoying this. I could do this fucking every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know? So like in that sense, yes, I feel like it's we definitely should do this again. But yeah, there are just things where it's like we have the opportunity to do it, but
The other thing too that like comes to mind is that like with this idea of the spark, like there's things I've done that I've gone way too much on and like it I think people don't know it, but it's like harder to connect with something. Like if something is simpler and it flows quickly, people hear that and it's reflected in the idea. And like this old track comes to mind. Like I did a silly edit of GTA Party Up and just put it up on SoundCloud. Like it wasn't really mix or mastered well. Like for the time, even like looking back, I was thinking like, that is all right. And then I looked back on it the other day and it's got like, you know, like way more plays than I thought it did. And it's even someone dropped it in a mix like 2 years ago. And I'm like, why did you play this? But it was just simple and effective. And people like that. And people like, maybe they couldn't put their finger on it, but like they kind of know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's real. That's real. Mace,
Yo,
we haven't heard from you for a bit.
I was
what
just
do we-
letting the.
Yeah, how you doing over there, Mace?
I'm doing a good job if you guys are just going off and I don't need to cut in. You know.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah. What else do we got on the docket?
I just got a wrap up question when you guys are ready.
Yeah, what time is it? I mean, it's almost 9, so I
Yeah.
feel like actually it's
I've been
probably
going
a good
about
time.
2 hours now. So.
Wait,
Right.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
We've
flew
been
by.
chatting for a fucking minute.
Flew the
Yeah.
fuck by.
We had some sections.
Yeah.
It was probably
It
an
was cool. This
EP
is cool
worth
as
of
Yeah.
of podcast. Dude, I'm trying to put out a podcast album.
I got a 2E podcast.
yeah. We got a
Chewy.
the 2E would be like the the Patreon section of
Yeah.
the podcast would be like the B section. But we're not doing
So
that.
the unedited.
If we
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
do a Patreon, what we're gonna do is turn off most of the lights and do like an after dark, and that's when you get like the real hot.
No more
takes.
Sapporos, shots of Malort only.
Yo,
The secrets start
I
coming
would
Green
out.
man
love to just-
behaviors.
Green Man. Do we want to let the unindoctrinated know about Green Man?
I think
What
we
is
should.
it? Yeah.
All right,
What
I'm
is
gonna
it?
explain this.
Do you have a pair of dice we can just show them?
Green noise.
Green Noise is related to Green Man.
I'm already 2 Sapporos in. We're not doing that.
Yeah, you got to drive.
Exactly. So, it was a drinking game that my friends from back in Indy introduced me to, but essentially, I mean, the quick short of it, it's like Kings, but you do it with dice. But there's a lot of wacky and fun rules to get you drunk real quick, and it will get you there very quick. But the premise, the main standpoint point to why the game is called technically 3-man is because every time you roll a 3, you become the 3-man, which means every time a 3 is rolled in the game, you have to take a drink, usually a 3-second pull, because you can't take a quick sip. You gotta actually
Everyone else
taste the
counts
alcohol.
for you too, so
And
it
they
gets
ca-
really
And if you play with
brutal.
Kiefer, he doesn't count like one Mississippi. He goes 1, 2, and I'm over here trying to like show
It's
Mercy.
not
I'm
a
like,
Mississippi.
1,
It's like
2,
it's the Panama Canal for Kiefer. Dude. Like,
while it's blocked.
So, of course, purgatory, of course, isn't forever. So you can, get yourself out of the game by rolling a 3 yourself, and then you can unlock and then pass it to whoever rolls a 3. But yes, there's many other fun rolls you can get.
you kind of
and-
make the rules up too as you're
Uh-huh.
playing with people, where it kind of like, as Kiefer kind of explained it to us the first time, like there's a fair amount of like wiggle room that you get to sort of decide as you're playing it, and then like if it's over the course of a weekend or
Let-
For example, if you and all your friends are up in a cabin in the wilderness with 3 cases of light beer and nothing else to do, yeah, we ended up coming up with our own rules for it. And
I will say, like, when me and my friends played it, we had people like puking up foam.
okay, well, you're mean to each other in that game, like.
we got pretty mean. We got pretty
Yeah,
mean to
with
each
the
other.
hot chip. Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you rolled a snake eyes, Kai and his girlfriend had like this absolutely brutally hot,
Brutally hot.
ghost
Probably the
pepper
hottest
salsa.
thing.
It was.
Oh my
that
And
God.
the worst part
ever-
is the flavor was so good that I wanted to actually eat it, but then it just punched you in the face. So you had to do hot chip. My rule that I introduced is if you drop the dice, you have to sit on the floor wherever the dice landed and finish your drink. And then Kai opened a Cutwater instead of a light beer, and it's late into the night. We're hours into the game. He just started saying Green Man instead of 3-man. And we're all just like, yeah, it's Green Man.
So now it's Green
The
Man.
Hat
Yeah.
Man came
Oh,
out.
Yeah.
dude, it was probably as demonic as I've ever been, and I like remember this, and I'm trying to keep it together, like because like
I
the
still remember the moment you
You're in
crack
the
it, and
wilderness.
Becca's like, that's a Cutwater. You're like,
I didn't
"Oops."
notice until I got back to the table that it was not a can of light beer in my hand, but like a 14%.
We cracked it and we all looked over and we're like, "That's not a fucking beer."
and
That's much more.
and then
90 natty lights in the fridge, and the man
just
goes for a
like-
7% margarita.
just zoned out, man. And then I'm like, all right, what the hell are we playing? We playing Green Man, and then it's just like,
We're like, yes, we are.
now we are,
Now we are.
now we are, dude.
yeah,
Dude.
up the ante. Fuck it, why not?
So Green Noise is
Green
just
Noise
related.
Yeah, I'm working on something where you have a lot of audio files and you want to give them names, just to be very vague about it. But I was asking the boys what this like this it's just like a white noise sample, but I'm like, give me some ideas here. Like, I want to be fun with it. I feel like when presets have like a fun name or a sample has a stupid name, like I might not even notice it when I drag it in, but like later I'll get a chuckle out of that. And I would want to give people that. So Green Noise was suggested, and
Hell yeah.
it's supposed to be like brown noise or pink noise, but it's green noise.
no, dude, it's a different filter set.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
well, also, I've been seeing on my Instagram for like sleep noise. It's like, have you heard of green noise? And it's just this like imagery of
Green
like
noise?
green.
I've seen that ad.
You know what I'm
Green
talking
Yeah,
about?
I've
noise?
seen
It's like
that
a
ad.
calm.
No, it's a real thing.
app.
It
Yeah,
actually,
it is. Yeah.
it actually is a nice color of noise. And like honestly, next time if we do this again, we should have a guess the noise section. Is
Amazing.
it pink noise,
Amazing.
brown noise? Because there's like actually like 10 or so. There's like infinite noises. You could make your own filter and be like, this is fucking turquoise noise.
Fuchsia noise.
Fuchsia
Yeah.
noise.
Dude, I feel like pink noise and probably pink noise are just like your standard like analog circuit noise are my favorite.
I love
Yep.
pink noise.
Yeah.
Love
The
pink.
hum.
The hum. The hum, dude.
Yeah, man. That would be a fun section. We got to write that down, Mace, for
Yeah.
next time.
I like that.
That'd be cool. Fuck. There was something else there, but I don't know. We should rap. That's what we were going to
Sure.
say. Yeah.
Mace, what was your rap question?
We got a
Do we have
wrap-up
a rap?
question. I got a wrap-up
Mace
question.
got a rap. All right.
I just want to hear from you guys. What are your hopes for the scene, the industry for the coming year? We're about at the end of 2023. What do you guys want to see for our industry, our scene in 2024?
That's a big question, man.
It is, yeah.
One thing I've seen that I want to see continue is the local scene has fortunately gotten away from kind of the same circle of the same DJs playing every show, even where the genres don't necessarily align. I've seen a huge introduction of newer artists across all genres, and I think this might be artists who are maturing, who started during COVID, as a lot of people did. They got their first DAW, they got their first controller, and now we're a few years past that, and I think the ones who've really had a passion and that was their introduction are maturing, and they're getting into the scene. There's a really nice wave of new talent, good talent. So I want to see that continue to progress. I think we've got a really good new class of artists like playing around Chicago, so I want to see more of that.
I didn't even think about that fully. Like the class that got into it during COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
like I picked up a guitar during COVID just to fuck around and learn a little bit. So many people probably picked up music production. That's such an obvious thing, but I don't know why until you said that. And now that they're maturing, it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're probably getting good.
Yeah, I mean we're coming up on 3 years since, so like,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy to think about. Gonna have a quick existential crisis, but
Yeah, don't mind me.
but yeah. So I want to see more of that. I'm seeing a lot more multi-genre stuff happening with artists, especially within the bass realm. With house, I'm still not seeing it as much, but maybe that just is indicative and native to house as a culture. But within bass genres, I'm seeing a lot of multi-genre aspects coming out of all sorts of artists, regardless of where they sprouted from in the bass scene, which as a multi-genre artist, I love to see that. It's encouraging to me. Those are probably the two big things that I'm starting to see that I want to see more of.
Yeah.
I think
Sick.
for me, for sure, and just how even moving up here, and this is really not even just Chicago, but just like everywhere, is like definitely want to see like, and it's already happening. Not to say that it's not, but like just fucking people getting into DJing and just throwing shows themselves and just not necessarily having to conform and just do their own thing, keep pushing it, and really it just keeps pushing new ideas into that whole marketplace really overall. I mean, just watching years of like promoters get burnt out, get sick of things, and normally that happens is because they just don't normally branch out. They get too comfortable, too stagnant. But like that can be really combated if there's just more of it, and especially with how things are getting priced out, even with travel, things like that. More or less, just promoters and smaller shows and venues just keep happening. Like I did promotions for shows back when I was in college, and it's not easy. Sure as shit, it's not easy, but damn it, we did something that really helped inspire people to like do their own things, whether if that was hosting shows, but get into production. Like it like a lot of electronic music, I feel like, especially post COVID, people want to see that in real life now, truthfully. And once they see that on a smaller scale that's obtainable to them, regardless of price, I mean, it's inspiration. It gets people motivated. It shows that there is something for them. And especially like during COVID, like it was like, I don't really know where I'm at. I don't know who I fit in with. So I went to the internet And like now there's just like I realize I can put something like of my own and bring that culture to where I'm at. But like it needs to happen everywhere. It needs to keep happening.
Like you brought like UKG. I mean, not to say that Kiefer brought UKG to Chicago, but in my world,
I brought it back.
did.
If anything, like just the importance of it, because it got so stagnated, not just in Chicago, but like a lot of scenes either were like, you're either with this, you're either with that, and it's like, okay, where do I fit? And quite frankly, when I was in India, it was like I either like suck it up and get in the bass scene, or suck it up and be just house artist. And it's like I don't, quite frankly, just pocket myself. But not to make it on me, but like I see like lots of like shit here in Chicago where it's like multi-genre. There's different new artists that can have a platform and really start something. And I think more of that.
Shout out Super Schmoove.
And
and also
Lake Effect.
Lake Effect. I was gonna
Lake
say
Effect,
what you were explaining, where it's like get a generator, get a speaker, and just plop up.
And it doesn't
start
have to
DJing.
be some crazy
More
amalgamated
Renegades, please.
planned.
More Renegades, yeah.
More Renegades. You know, starting ideas at local bars. Not even bars, but just fucking post up at parks. I don't know. Anything really, and just keep throwing that out there, not feeling like it has to be so calculated. Again, like I was referencing, is like so much of what we do as musicians, we have to calculate so that we can get heard. But at that point, if everybody's making enough noise, there's enough to bounce off of, and it really does inspire people to move
That's real
forward
as
and
fuck.
feel confident.
That is real. Kiefer's like fucking preaching.
No, you just
Yeah.
fucking spit right there, because
that was real.
it takes it from being an echo chamber to projecting off each other in different directions.
That's
And,
what
like,
I'm
you
thankful about
discover
with this
shit.
podcast, bro, and like
Word.
this extended network of people.
Yeah, we're doing that
Yeah.
right here in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's there. I'll get off my soapbox.
I mean, no, like, I've been enjoying it, man.
Yeah, no, you're spitting.
I'm just gonna like echo here, but like keep for the scene and for producers like this next year. I just want everybody to keep going and like keep making things their own, like what Kiefer was saying too, where it's like it doesn't have to be the club events that you're seeing on like YouTube or TikTok or social media, but like you can do your own thing with it and make it yours too. And like like Relativity, Jack, and like Lake Effect crew, like they made that their own, and it's just that was some of like the best times from this year summer. We're just
Hell
going to
fucking
those
yeah.
parties.
I second
dude.
that.
Yeah, like, and it was something where if you were just evaluating it on like, okay, no lasers, no fog machines, but like all that stuff is kind of superfluous, and like just getting a bunch of people together at the lake on like in the middle of the day too, as we're getting a little older, and it's like we don't want to be out till like 5 a.m. sometimes. We want to have some like a darty.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
I
like
have been enjoying darties.
the darty
When you're like a
Yeah,
little
love
fucked
darties.
The
up
darty, yes.
during the day, you're just like,
and
this
there's
isn't
enough
right.
time to
You
like
smash a pizza and you're in
come
bed
down.
by like
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's not bad.
It's kinda
Then
nice.
You know, the next day though, you know what the real seller is like. The next day, you're like, I don't feel as shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just
You
got
just
a
already
little
got
bit
through
more
the
time.
hangover in your sleep too.
But it's also nice to have the option if you want to fucking be out until 5 a.m.
you could use it as a pregame, like all
No, I
for
did.
sure.
Yeah,
I did
some
that.
of those
You
parties.
Pop a
yeah,
little
yeah.
pill. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd be like, all right, 2 p.m. at Lake Effect. I'm going to be chilling tonight. Suddenly it's 9 p.m. I'm getting ready to go to Radius.
I mean, it happens.
But
it
again,
happened
I
a
think
lot.
it comes down to like just having those options,
Making it your own too.
making it your own, and
yeah.
also not feeling. I think that's another thing too. Moving to Chicago from Indy was like, I felt fucking guilty because I was like, there's so much happening and I can't be at all of it.
The FOMO is extremely fucking real.
especially
here.
when you're friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even mean that at a surface level. Like you, in your heart, want to be there.
But that's
for
so
them.
tight.
Yeah.
That's so tight that there's so much happening.
It's
that,
the,
like,
as you would say, the Catch 184 or
the Blink 182 or some shit. I don't know.
the Catch 182 of it all is. But no, like you're right. Like it's awesome that our community, like for the people who are really passionate about it, like I'm friends with these musicians and I genuinely want to go see them play and support their set and hype them up. But at the same time, there'll be nights where, and while it can be fun to hop from venue to venue to venue, that can also be exhausting because it can be happening 3 or 4 nights a week, and
It takes
like,
a toll, man.
It's unsustainable at a certain point. So it's you got to choose your battles. But
You got to choose your battle.
But at least you can choose your battles.
yeah, at least you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs like,
Because that was
Pre-COVID, it didn't used to be like that, man.
No,
not as
it
much.
really
No.
wasn't.
Well, that might be an effect of like maturation effect, where like all of us have had projects that have been
True.
just
Very
chilling.
true.
Yeah.
Well, like in indie shit
you
was
know,
like so
figuring
like,
everything out.
oh, you're with them, you're not with us. It's like, can I pick? Can I like have a night where
Bro, I'm not gonna pick a talent tree. Like, if it, it's like,
Oh
oh,
my
yeah, only
God.
This
stealth,
isn't an
bro.
Elden. This is not an Elden Ring build. You don't
Yeah.
have to pick
It-
one class to max.
It's like once
Yeah.
you get that clicky shit in your scene, it's just like so. Yeah, it's just not good. It's really not.
Just
So
imagine you play NSW with like no lake effect. Like, sorry, like
Yeah.
It's, oh my
like,
god!
most-
if it was like that,
not
it'd be
intentionally.
crazy.
Like, don't clip that out of context here, because they're friends and they're all good people. But like, just the thought of saying that is insane.
No, like
Yeah.
your horde versus alliance. Like
But there's so
back
much
to the
even-
skill tree.
I mean, like that's one thing I've really loved about getting closer with you guys, and you guys is like, I mean, my melodic bass ass showing up at NSW shows, I probably wouldn't have known about them initially, and like
Like
everyone's
vice versa, going to like shit at soundbar that I was like, I don't really know, and then I'm like, oh fuck, this is a vibe. Like,
yeah,
it's all about just like tapping in, seeing what's there,
and putting the politics of it all aside and realizing like local talent's local talent. People are passionate and crushing it.
absolutely.
And soon enough, they're not going to be locals.
They're
anymore.
not.
And,
I've been
like,
watching some of my friends move on to the next realm, which makes me so fucking proud as a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's gonna pop in 2024?
out of the local scene,
Yeah.
This room.
this room.
Well, I was gonna say
like,
fucking
a lot more people
CLB
other than this
for
room.
real.
Okay, buddies, Ultra 2024.
Oh my dude, that's the
Ultra.
super group. That's after when we're all sufficiently like gray beard
Yeah.
in this scene.
Gray
We
beard?
just
Yeah.
like
Oh
we
my
come back
God.
around and do the ultra send.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
On-
Start
on
releasing
real-
vinyl onlys and shit. Oh,
my God.
Christ!
back to selling dub plates only on 7 inches.
I
Kill
mean,
me if I get
We
to that
might
point.
be
I
going
hate that.
back. I
a
don't know.
melodic bass on vinyl would be like, would the needle skip a little bit, John?
No, I have an
Okay.
Ophelia, Best of Ophelia or whatever. It's basically Best of Ophelia Volume 2. Listening to melodic dubstep on vinyl is fucking wild. First of all, no, it doesn't skip.
Okay.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I do feel like the needle would be going ham.
That was like 10% sneak diss, but I was just curious.
No, I knew. I just chose to overlook it.
I don't think we're gonna do another one of these before 2024. So like, I would say if we could all just go around real quick, choose an artist that you think's gonna pop. Like I was gonna say CLB. I saw his set at fucking North Coast in that fire pit, and
Christ.
local people. That was lit. And Max has been on a tear for a while, but like that shit was sick.
Are we keeping this local?
I think I want to keep it local. I mean, you.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give one local and one just like external person, but I definitely think Nada has got a really, really primed like catalog right now. Just like there's things he's shown me where I'm like, please just put this out. Like the world needs this.
I know.
He's
And
due
that's-
for it. He's so talented.
So that's probably my top pick. Outside that, I mean, I saw some, like we were kind of like talking about albums and stuff this year, but I feel like Jasper Tigner, like from the UK, is gonna pop off on just like more of like the wave of melodic garage, to borrow your term, John. Like
Melodic- liquid garage.
liquid garage,
Liquid
yeah,
garage.
yeah.
Liquid garage sounds sick.
Okay, so I don't know if that's a term, but one of the cabin tracks I made, I call Liquid Garage
Dude, that sounds like
because
a good genre.
because I made it next to a Liquid D&B track, and Liquid D&B is obviously established. So I don't know if that's a real thing. I'm gonna make it a thing. If Kiefer can make Chicago Garage a thing, I'm making Liquid Garage a thing.
Honestly, yeah.
I want to hear it.
I'll show it to you after the pod.
Off pod, baby.
Off pod. Did you say you said your picks?
I said my two, yeah.
Local, I think Flaninho and Abel Gray are both very primed to pop.
Oh yeah.
Flynn makes some of the most fucking banger bass house, like rock and metal infused bass house that I've ever heard. He's been making good tech house. And then he put out that dubstep track on Ex Medius where I was like, dude, I knew he was multi-genre and like very talented, but that shit's a fucking ripper. Like, oh my God. And then Abel Gray, he's just been steady climb, you know.
Abel Gray grinds.
He
bro.
grinds. He
Yeah,
fucking
he
grinds.
Fucking knows.
Yeah, he's been leading Ex Medius good places. Like he's constantly like, I like how a lot of his stuff has a very classical influence to it, which I know he loves Apache, so like that makes sense. Anyway, he's been progressing well. So those two locally. You're gonna have to come back to me for a next tier. Kiefer, go ahead.
I didn't give one. You don't even
Like
I want
this question.
to.
This question's kind of crazy, but like I truly think that like everybody, I don't know. I feel like honestly, there's just so many different scenes. Like if we're just gonna talk locally, like there's just so many scenes that I feel like here, there's just too much good fucking music that's just not gonna sit directly here in the city and not just gonna like stagnate. I think a lot of like there's gonna be like breakout moments, and especially when people like look back and be like, yeah, like this guy or this girl, whoever is, they're more or less they're gonna like be able to like be like, yo, I saw them fucking doing empty room ass fucking events, and now here they are. And I don't think there's like any one particular person, especially in this fucking room alone, but like, goddamn, there's so many good scenes here where like I feel like Chicago is in a good spot where it's like getting more well connected with the rest of the world. And like, not for me to like make like a single judgment of like what confines as a pop off, but like I feel like every scene really has like a decent handful amount of people that like have been at it for a minute, and that when that moment happens where they go, who is this, they're gonna be like, that's so and so, they were here and now they're there. And those people that get that kind of recognition are the ones
Kiefer's
that
clapping
are gonna,
now.
That's how you know he's going in.
Yeah.
2 Sapporo's in. But like,
Me 4 beers deep.
yeah, I that's why this question's kind of fucking me up, because I can't think of one single person that's gonna put the city on the back and be a Kanye, because we
But like
obviously
when
saw
they
how that
do,
goes.
we're gonna be there and we're gonna ride for them.
That's
and
what I'm
that's
saying.
that's like Chicago, and that's
Yeah.
the scene right now.
That's
where,
the thing.
like,
I love this city to death, but fucking goddamn it, when people like pop off and get all this crazy, frenzied media press and all this shit, like there's a good portion that will like not put their recognition to what they've done here and like go Hollywood, go fucking Miami, Dubai, whatever.
Yeah, those projects never last.
But they don't last.
Burn hot, burn fast.
So I don't know. I just think right now there's just so much more authenticity happening, and quite frankly, there's scenes that we haven't even discussed in this scene or this podcast that like they're gonna have their moments, but with that moment, not only are people gonna be like, yeah, they fucking deserve that, but also they're gonna like put us on the map even more so than what's been done for decades. So shout out fucking everybody here. God damn it.
I thought of my
that's
my
real.
like, I guess you would say mid tier, not to call him mid by any measure, but 33 below. I literally did not know about him until I listened to him the day of RL Grime, because I just wanted to know all the openers, or maybe it was the day before. I played that man's whole fucking discography, not a single bad track. I was just like, holy fuck. Like, the dude's clearly a seasoned producer and musician. I wouldn't be shocked if this is his second or third alias and this is the one that's popping, but like, oh my god, it's so good. And I mean, the fact that RL Grime's putting him on a tour says it all. So I think he's going to continue to pop. Also, Bunt is cool. He really surprised me at the Lewis Child show.
I want to circle back because I feel like I know we're trying to end this shit. It's
No,
going to
no,
be a
no.
Midwest goodbye. We
Yeah.
all know what it is. We all know what it is. But
Midwest
like,
goodbye.
my wish for the scene
so
and what I want to see happen is like, as much as it's possible for the music industry to be a meritocracy of people's music being good, I hope it stays that way. And like, we all kind of know, we're not going to like spill tea right now, but like there's a lot of elements of this game that are not a meritocracy. Like there's a lot of privilege, there's a lot of those things, but in as much as everybody in this room, everybody listening can help it be that way of just evaluating things of like, is that a good song or not? Does it, deserve a place on like a label or a catalog? Like, I just want it to be a meritocracy in that sense. And like, that's my wish. And like, there's places in the scene that are like that, and there's places that are not, but like, hopefully we can have more of those places where we just evaluate it on, did someone make a good record that connects with me or not?
I think the new generation of just electronic listeners and people going to shows that came from COVID, I think are inherently geared towards that because they picked it up during the pandemic where there were no shows. And You didn't have flashy production, expensive venues, lasers to draw you into the music. You literally just had the music. You were alone in your bedroom. So
Real.
I think the people
Real.
who got into it, and a lot of people will talk smack sometimes. I'll see it on like
the
forums.
Zoomers or
on
whatever,
the
yeah.
not even just their age, just like new to the scene. And like, you know, there's a certain degree of etiquette at shows that I think is appropriate, and some of it might have lost its luster.
Wait, that's like a whole rabbit hole because
That's-
I'm just
yeah,
thinking
that's-
like you gotta wear all black and just.
I'm not
like,
even talking
no,
that.
No, I know.
And
I
I'm not
know.
even trying to go full like plur, which like has some truth to
Right,
it, but like
right.
there's just some general like manners at a show that I would like to see come back. But that aside, and that's for the same reason, like I'm saying, people, I think the new gen of people going to these shows were initially primed for just the good music. I think there's also an aspect where they were primed by what's popular on social media, which, you know, this could be a whole like half-hour discussion we could have on this alone.
Yeah.
I understand what I'm teeing up here, and I don't think we need to go into it today. But to your point, I think we're in a point where the way to show support for an event, especially in Chicago, but everywhere else, is bodies in the room. With the economy where it is, I think people are spending their money where they have a true passion to be there. And I think the generation that is primed to be going to those shows is pre-primed to go where they are truly passionate about the music. So I
And
think
where they're excited too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the meritocracy of good music means good placements at good shows. I think that's going to increase. That's also my hope.
Yeah, Mace, what did you didn't say anything in the start?
No.
What do you think? What do you think?
I want to shout out Villa. I think he's making
Hey.
the kid. I think he's
Yes.
making
Facts.
some incredible music. And then the guys who just put out his recent record, DEFCON 1, I got to see their takeover a little bit at Lunar Tide. That was some of the best tunes I've heard in a while. I mean, they were on at 9:30, 10 o'clock, really early in the night, and they did a really good job. So I
Hell
want to shout
yeah.
out the label boys there.
Hell yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Shout out the Lake Effect comp that they all just dropped. Every fucking track was just a trip in itself. Like, Jesus, like that was such a cool.
I love that
fucking
Lake
tape.
Effect is turning from just like homies at the lake in the middle of the summer to like, let's put out a comp. Like, I want to see that group
Yeah,
grow.
that's sick.
Good
that's
people,
sick.
great event, great music. I want to see that grow.
All right, so this is just I feel like a good ender is Ryan Mara, one of our fellow
my God.
co-hosts. He asked us, how many powdered donuts do you guys think you could eat in 3 minutes?
How many are in those bags that you
Like
get?
the Diddy donuts? Are we talking the
Yeah,
full
wait, it
boys?
kind of depends if they're munchkins or
If we're
they're,
talking
like-
about the Hostess bag you can get at the gas stations, I can finish the whole thing in 3 minutes.
Easy.
How many is that? Like 6 donuts, little guys?
No, like 20 to 30.
Really?
Like the
But they're little.
bags.
Yeah, they're like, they're like
little.
I'm not
yeah.
the sleeve you're talking about with the 6.
All right, that'll be our determinant of how many you could eat. Those little
the
donuts.
sleeves. Oh yeah. I'm talking about, I don't know how many are in those bags. I want to say probably 20.
Okay.
I could eat a bag of the little Hostess.
Could probably
Powdered
do like
donuts.
about like 8 before I start feeling weird things in my tummy.
Oh, I'm gonna
I think
feel
up to
weird after the
10.
bag.
I think
but
could eat the bag.
I wouldn't
and-
feel good.
And maybe a couple more. Like, because you're just like, we're already here.
Give me
like,
a coffee and I can get a few more down.
Powdered
It's in the
donuts
morning,
you can
too.
get down more
Yeah.
Yeah.
than like, you know, the cake.
You're a cop
chocolate.
also that day.
Yeah.
It's like,
Fed alert.
I'm actually a cop.
Pods by feds.
All right, so yeah, pretty good amount. Munchkins, I could eat like 35.
Are munchkins
That's a
like
lot.
the donut holes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the same size actually.
No, I think there's I think they're a little smaller. I could eat more munchkins than the white powdered donuts.
Yeah, the powder also it has that effect of like the cinnamon challenge.
That's
where
why
you
I need
try
the
to-
coffee.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need someone to wash it down.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh's curse.
Kill him with kindness? Wrong. Pharaoh's curse.
Bum, bum, and then you just start coughing up dust.
Sandman from Spider-Man 3 all of a sudden.
Oh hell no.
Exactly. All right,
Oh,
Ryan. Well, I hope that helps you. I don't know why you asked that.
Thank
but
you for
we
the question,
appreciate
Ryan.
it.
I'm
We
happy to
appreciate
inform
it.
you of my donut eating capacity.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd talk about that tonight.
Maze, how do
That's
we
it.
end this? I don't know.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
Yo,
thanks,
yo,
guys.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that
This
was
is
fun.
Kai signing off.
This is Jerry. Just Jerry.
Kiefer Ian signing off. Chicago Garages Forever.
This is JWILLI. I love you. I'll see you next time.
And Mace.
Mace with a million A's.